Welcome, everybody, to day 5 of ProBots here on ProBots, our lovely YouTube channel, where we bring you the best StarCraft AI games that are out there, I think. We've got some really good games here, and Endersword, we have 12 bots remaining in our
We do.
What happens to 4 of them tonight?
We're going to delete them. We're going to take a big magnet and just run it over their stuff. Yeah.
Like a hard drive?
Yeah. Any ones and zeros will become randomized into oblivion.
And then we'll toss it into a fire.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, for these, so here's our 8 bots tonight. Last week, if you didn't catch it, we had our upper matches of each bracket, 8 groups, A, B, C, and D. The loser of each of those matches got knocked down into what we have tonight. And tonight, we finish off our round of 8. 4 more bots will be advancing into the round of 8. So while 4 may fall, we will finish off that round of 8 and have it ready to go for next week, which is very exciting. So yeah, some great matchups tonight. Some really big name bots. Somebody said you said you were surprised Ketch got knocked down last week.
I was. Ketch
Xena, a nice 2-1 series.
Former champion and just a mainstay. Ketch never. I don't know if Ketch's ever not made a top 4.
Yeah, I think he's always been in at least top 4 since he joined.
Yeah, so that obviously going to the ace match, but yeah, that was a really good one. So we're gonna have a pretty powerhouse matchup there in Group B tonight.
Yeah, powerful bracket tonight.
Yeah, for sure. But we're kicking things off with Tier and Benbot BC. Also 2 bots that have both made it really far in past seasons. Tier has 1. Here is Tier stats. Elo of 1962. Win rate, a little deceptive because that's his win rate in the upper bracket or upper whatever it is, upper tier of the ladder. So it's a bit misleading, but yeah, a powerful one and showing some good stuff this season.
Keep in mind, Tier is a different race as well. If you've been watching ProBots for a long time, you've known Tier as a Protoss for a very long time. A very powerful Protoss. But trying his hand this season after doing random, I believe last season, doing Terran. So we're gonna have a TVT against Benbot BC tonight, and this is gonna be a really good matchup. Benbot BC has really become one of those elite Terrans, in my opinion, where he is very strong, very sturdy, can usually get into the late game, and I'm excited to see these two go up against each other.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite good. Benbot, like you said, very late game focused. A lot of what he does is meant to stall out until you get to that battle cruiser stability later on, and he just tends to survive until you get to that point.
Absolutely. Well, before we do get started, make sure you check out all the links below me. We do have a lot of cool stuff there. You can get some templates if you're a new bot author. You can also find our website right below me. Go check that out if you want to support ProBots. And if you want some extra ProBots content, we have a little show called PostBots that we do tomorrow night, every Friday after the show. We have a bot author, we have a guest of some sort that's working on some sort of AI technology, something cool. So if you like a little bit of extra discussion about AI and StarCraft bots and things like that, definitely check out our website and think about supporting us. And make sure you hit that thumbs up as well. Get us a little bit of visibility on YouTube so people come and check out the stream. And so they learn about these bots, because these bots are the future of StarCraft. Are they not, Endersword?
They are. I think some of them are from the future.
Some of them might be from the future.
Yeah.
We don't know for certain.
But they will be. They are definitely the future.
Well, in the present, we have a game lined up for you. Our first best of 3 is ready. Thank you once again for tuning in to day 5 of ProBots. We've got Tier versus Benbot. Let's go.
Tier and Gertians.
Tier.
Glossiers.
Benbot BC. All right, Endersword,
Yep.
we're here.
TVT to kick
TVT,
things
baby.
off today. Tier can be a little bit of a cheeky bot, can play standard, can play cheesy, a few different things, but it looks like it's Benbot that is starting off a little bit cheesy here. Tier is going to spot this quickly. Benbot very frequently does start out with a bunker contain on his opponent. Tier did see it, obviously, with that scouting SCV, but we're going to see if he reacts to it at all. Some bots really don't have that programmed in, but he is taking note, obviously, that's there.
Yeah, I was gonna say some bots don't really recognize or give a damn really what this even is. 'Cause it is just far enough outside of the main base that it doesn't pose an immediate threat like a cannon rush would, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't have to necessarily go after it right away, although certainly if that first SCV wandering by, like there's almost no need to continue to scout. If it just goes after the SCV, it can shut it down so cleanly. But in this case, he does get the barracks finished, and he's going to get the bunker up, and it looks like that's going to go uncontested here as well, although a Marine will pop out just before it is done.
And again, keep in mind, this is not a full all-in. This is Benbot's signature early pressure to contain and to slow down the opponent, which, yeah, sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see how this one pans out. What's Tier doing in response? He's actually playing pretty defensively. There's a bunker coming down up at the top of the ramp here.
Yeah, he doesn't actually fully wall off, but it's there, I guess, for safety. And the Marine at the bottom not really looking to engage just yet. He is getting a factory, so if he gets a tank out first, then he can obviously shell that from the high ground. Although we've seen a lot of the bots, particularly around ramps, have a few little mishaps where the tank just gets stuck in a really bad position and so on.
Man, so far this has been very clean for defense. You're not pushing out further than he should, and takes a nice little engagement, even gets a Marine kill under his belt. And yeah, if he just waits for that tank, like you mentioned, assuming the tank comes out, that is how you break this. You just kind of gotta be a little slow. So it does slow you down a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It's not a huge commitment, and usually it ends up being worth it for Benbot, that it does slow his opponent down, does at least cause a reaction. We're not sure if Tier wanted to go for a one base play here or intended to expand and now has deviated from that, but we'll see later on. Benbot does tend to follow this up again with small additional commitments, so that a Widow Mine may make its way across the map to help that bunker out, and we often see a tank make its way over, although it doesn't look like we're seeing that this time yet. And there, a tank in good position by Tier probably will eventually take this out, but there is an SCV still repairing, so still going to take some time.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time, but that costs Benbot a little bit more money, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice breakout. Tier will bust through this and start to catch up, because Benbot actually has a second command center finishing up right now. It's a decent little lead economically. I like that.
If Tier is intending on a one base push, then this is probably a pretty good time to do that. Benbot bunkering up back home with the Widow Mine there, and a Hellion was made, and I don't think we usually see that when he does that bunker rush. It's usually a tank that comes out and joins us, but it's a Hellion there on the low ground, so I don't know if that'll be super effective with a couple tanks there, but it doesn't look like Tier is moving just yet, and the fact that he is making a command center does imply that this did in fact delay what he was intending.
Yeah, definitely. That's nice. Yeah, if that Hellion pushes up the ramp, it's not going to be useful at all. But at the moment, it's just going to sit, and I think it's just waiting to see maybe when the second base gets taken or something. Maybe that'll prompt some kind of response. So keep in mind, I don't know if you remember, these two actually faced each other in week 1, with Tier taking the 2-0 victory.
Yes.
But there have been updates for both of these bots since then. And that is very, very important to keep in mind. Tier mostly has some late game upgrades from what I've seen in response to battle cruisers. He now deals with them a little bit better. He even had a Zerg update to try to deal with Eris, which worked really well in game 1. If you caught last week's games, Tier actually took game 1 off of Eris. Really nice.
Quite good. Eris, one of, well, basically the strongest really on paper at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty good to even take a map. And it looks like this army was originally moving out just to secure that natural, but maybe moving towards a third now as the Marines chase the Raven down and out of sight.
Yeah, it's evened up pretty nicely despite that bunker, quote unquote, contain, if you want to call it. You know, it's just slight delay, but in the end, it doesn't actually look like it will affect that much because Tyr is going to have the earlier third base. Oh no, I'm sorry. Benbot has a third base on the way. It's just not on location.
Yeah, but Benbot has a tendency to build in the main and then float over. So those are on par. Benbot definitely further ahead in SCVs at the moment, but you know, room to catch up there. The army supply and Tyr's side, and I think the army quality definitely more on Tyr's side there as well. Although we're starting to get Benbot moving into higher tech.
Yeah, let's go Benbot. Let's get those battle cruisers.
Yeah, fusion core almost done, finishing up right now, and we'll see how quickly he gets one out. He doesn't. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Oh. Let us know in chat as well. I forgot the poll. Who do you want to win? You want Tyr, Benbot? What's it at? Oh, it's pretty split 50-50 there.
I would like to see a few more bio units out of Tyr. He's got Marines, but it's a very small number. So if he gets caught out by something like a battle cruiser, there's not going to be a whole lot to take it out. You kind of do want a whole bunch of ground there able to shoot up, and a fleet of tanks isn't quite going to do it right now.
Oh, but what type of ground? Not Marines. They're not.
They're not like the best thing in the world against it, but they will take it, especially this early where the armor's not there. The Marines still do okay in taking out, and it's a cheap way to deal with it. Cyclones, yeah, certainly better. Vikings, even better. But yeah, it's I never like it when your number of tanks outnumbers your number of Marines.
Your anti-air, yeah, it just leaves you very vulnerable to Banshees, battle cruisers, obviously.
Yeah.
So wait, did I see one of the proposed changes for patch coming up for StarCraft? They're nerfing the hell out of this Cyclone and making it cheaper or something.
I think so. Yeah, that was a long list of changes that are being proposed. There's a whole bunch of them. It's like definitely going to be the biggest thing in a long time. But yeah, that seemed to be the move.
That's just not enough. Yeah. Oh, the Matrix is nice, but the Marines aren't in a big enough number that it's actually going to really threaten the battlecruiser just yet. The battlecruiser can just fly away. So
yeah.
But there are some Vikings starting to mass up. Does Tyr have more on the way? Yeah, he's got one at a time producing. So that's really going to be, I think, the decider at this point. Is who controls the air. Oh no! Wait, those are
those are both Benbots. They're just on the wrong side. Yeah. It's confusing. They surrounded basically the army there. Now they're just going to wander. Yeah.
Oh, ouch. Oof. Okay, another battlecruiser will be able to come push this back now because there's just not enough anti-air.
Yeah.
Almost a good push out of Tyr though. He got right up to the base of Benbot. Almost had a chance to get something up. Yeah, he just doesn't have anti-air. There we go. Thor's on the way. That's a good response to battlecruiser, right?
It is, and I think that's what I recall from round number 1 of the tournament. That he ultimately made a few Thors, which were really good at picking off the battlecruisers as well as some of the Vikings in the air. And I've talked a lot about Thors just providing stability, that it just lets you plant in a place and makes that a lot more defensible. The Marines, while they can shoot up, don't have the same range. So when you're trying to fight in like a tank line versus tank line battle, you often end up losing Marines as they get pulled forward chasing the air units. Thors don't really suffer that same thing.
Yeah, they're a good anchor to the army for sure. I don't know, where do we go from here? Benbot has a lot of minerals to spend.
Yeah, definitely does. It's generally a lot more gas heavy, obviously, to go for the battlecruiser route. A lot of upgrades are being done at the same time by both sides. So it's really the gas that's being drained on Benbot's side.
I feel like with that many minerals, you could just make, like 4 or 5 barracks and just crank out a few rounds of Marines to poke and harass or something. Maybe just snipe a few ravens. I don't know.
Even these Hellions that he's doing, if he had a
Or
force,
Hellions,
of those that was going around, then that might be something to invest
Yeah,
in.
4 Hellions come in there, boom, you get the SCV and it slows that down.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice planetary fortress is gonna kill some. I like it when Terrans use planetary fortresses. I think that is an appropriate way to go.
Especially in the AI game, it's really hard to make the decision of when you can beat it, when you can't, and kind of evaluate it properly.
Was this enough to beat this
army,
one? I don't know.
Big army coming in, but really awkward angle here. Stuck on the ramp here. The Marines kind of caught in a little bit of a meat grinder as they come up into the planetary fortress. Thors are going to take the long way around.
This is that exact scenario you just mentioned where there's just not enough to break the planetary, especially with the repairs. So there should just be no Marines attacking at that point. There's just no way to break through it.
And I wonder, too, if there's an evaluation done by it that there actually is enough, but they're not fighting the same thing. So he may view it as this is enough to kill a planetary, so I want to try, but 3 tanks aren't doing anything, 4 Thors are going the wrong way, like that sort of thing. He may lose these here.
Yeah, a lot of Thors just went down there, 3 in total. Another one's going to take a Yamato to the face, and we'll go down to tank fire. The tanks are in a good spot here. They're doing a lot of damage to the base there.
He got really lucky there that that BC decided to be scared of a single Viking
with no health on it. Boom! Now it's dead. Yeah, this will get pushed back. Tyr will get stopped once again. He cannot quite break through Benbot's defenses, but he is up on supply. He's got still a really nice army supply. He's going to lose a little bit once these tanks get entrenched.
Yeah, these guys won't get home. So that's going to even it up a bit. Both of them have pretty strong economies. Both of them on their way, certainly, to very strong upgrades. And we're getting some of the Thors being replaced. Again, it was just really the angle of attack there, that going up the ramp and then having kind of half the army go the other way and getting into this tank line that we're seeing now was a problem. I like the Neo Steel frames on the bunkers.
Yeah, that's an upgrade we don't see enough.
Yeah,
that's it's always a good upgrade. It kind of is along the lines of the planetary, where you need more than to kill it all of a sudden. So it's hard to necessarily commit into. Say you have a line of 4 Neo Steel bunkers filled with Marines. It's going to be hard to push into.
Yeah, Tyr is moving back down now. With any luck, he's going to see the attempted establishment of this bottom middle base and swing towards that, as opposed to trying the same ramp again as he encounters a bunch of battle cruisers yet again.
Ooh, nice matrix. That actually is one of his upgrades. He will no longer ignore enemies while chasing after the interference matrix battle cruisers. Nice. So he won't just run into a bunch of tank fire or something. Is what it sounds like when he's chasing those. Yeah. Is he going to break through here? There's 2 Thors really trying to get up the ramp. Tank is going to get gunned down. The SCVs are not quite enough to repair it. I think the planetary is going to still be able to hold, though, with all the repair, right?
I kind of think so, too. It depends on the splash here. Are the tanks close enough to kill the SCVs on the side? And will he get distracted? If he's purely on this, he would take it, but now he's going to get pulled off focus by the BCs coming back in, and it will be saved.
Yeah, he got it down to about half health, but just didn't have enough to punch through. And boom, the battle cruisers wipe everything yet again, and it's a little more even this time around. Tyr just threw away a lot of army supply.
Yeah, definitely.
That hurts. That definitely hurts a little bit. The upgrades are looking really good for both of the bots, though. They just kind of have a little bit of everything. Tyr a little bit more bio-focused on the upgrades, even though he's got a lot of tanks and Thors and Vikings and that kind of thing. Yeah, I guess he does have a handful of Marines every now and then. Just buffer, but they die so fast.
For both of these bots, they tend to wander in front and ended up dying to the enemy tank fire in both cases. He did at least get to delay the base that was supposed to go here. So that is not coming down. And in the meantime, he's taken the bottom left-hand corner. So Tyr is going to get up ahead base-wise. and it looks like he's eyeing the top right as well as this last Viking gets chased down. The real threat, and it's always the threat with Benbot, is that the battle cruiser count eventually gets out of control. And he ends up pushing across the map and just taking the whole thing. Benbot here, yeah, is floating up to that top right side. Will Tyr be aware of that? He had a scout over there a little earlier, but is unaware of it at the moment.
We don't have any island maps, do we?
No, I don't think. I think
Everyone's
island maps
just kind of poo-pooed those to death, haven't they?
Island maps went out.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Didn't work.
There's one on the AI Arena stream that I see every time.
Yeah.
Anyway, here comes one more push, but there's a lot of battle cruisers here. Kind of to your point, once you hit that critical mass, you almost just can't stop it. While it looks like the battle cruisers are getting pushed back, they're just going to go home, repair, and come back out and fight once again.
Yeah. At least he is resetting the Viking count. It is, if you get a lot of Vikings on Benbot's side, then it becomes really dangerous.
Oh, yeah, and then there's nothing stopping it. Tyr is keeping the Viking count up. He's got 2 producing at a time. And the upgrades, I think... Oh, no, he's only got +1 attack on those.
Has found this top base, and looks like he's going to go and take this out.
Oh, no, that's +3 attack. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
On the Vikings. Yeah, we're getting into that late game scenario where one big battle, I think, is going to eventually decide this. Both bots are almost maxed out.
Yeah, Tyr is maxed out now. Now, I kind of hope, for his sake, that this is going to cause him to come down this different path this time. If the Thors are up here and the army joins them, then that's probably beneficial in going for this other top base. But you can see the main army is coming through the middle as well. But if these are setting all the battle cruisers into repair mode again, it takes one out there. Really good.
Yeah, those things pack such a punch. Jeez.
So now the battle cruisers won't be as quick to swing in here because they need to get repaired up before they can. And he is running low on gas and doing that.
Yeah, he's definitely running out of gas. That's not the best. But I think we're gonna have a lot more dead Tyr units, as there's just again not enough to push into the planetary.
Yeah, again,
Benbot has plenty of minerals to repair that forever.
Yeah, if he had those 2 Thors down on that side instead of dying to the other planetary, then he'd have a chance. But unfortunately, the split army just isn't going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get a long kind of attrition-based game here. But Benbot has got to be starting to mine out, certainly on minerals. Both of them have a reasonable bank, but Benbot definitely struggling more on the gas side of things.
Yeah, he is very broke when it comes to gas. That's what I'm saying. Just a wave of Marines right now would be very helpful. 10 Marines come in to help support your battle cruisers, so they're not taking the brunt of the fire or something. Maybe they can push the Vikings back a little bit better. Nice interference matrix. Tyr has been... I think
really
that has been the
this.
saving grace of Tyr, has just been being able to interference matrix those battle cruisers and force them out of the battle.
Yeah.
In this case, I don't think it's going to be quite enough, but it is still a really good maneuver.
Yeah, we got
deal with these in the end.
Some reinforcements coming from the top, but those few Vikings that came from the north and the Marines may help out here, and now a Thor will be the hero, and then a bunch more Vikings.
And those Thors are so good.
So it does kind of look like he's now got everything grouped on the high ground. It's now down to, can he take out this planetary, which he really can't with only 1 Thor.
Oh, we all have dead Thor. Yeah, it's not even there anymore. He's trying to take that upper right base too, but that gets pushed away as Tyr has already occupied that zone. Oh, he even gets a command center kill. And I actually think that's a double nice thing. Yeah, he gets the command center, but now he's actually got a little bit more unit groupage. He's got a little squad of units that grouped up that will now group with a lot of his reinforcements. You can see them all kind of coming together in the middle of the map here.
Yeah.
And we're going to have just a big push out of Tyr. He's got an 118 army supply, almost completely fully upgraded everything.
Yeah,
and
here, look.
He's definitely a little bit ahead numbers-wise, ahead of Benbot.
He is, for sure. I was just going to say, if you look at that base on the right, like, Benbot is starving for gas at the moment, and he hasn't taken the 2 gases at that base.
Oh, good catch.
So he could have been getting that all along, but this thing is almost mined out, and he hasn't taken them yet.
Oh, wow. I wonder why he wouldn't take that one. That's interesting, because he's got them on all his other bases.
Yeah.
That one didn't get the gases somehow. Oh, that might cost him the game here. That might be why Tyr is able to finally break through. Tyr has more reinforcements, more gas income, so he can afford to replace some of those.
We'll
heavy
finally
units. But
get
Tyr
that.
actually didn't do the really expensive unit route. He's got, you know, some Thors scattered in, but he's mostly got Marines, tanks. He really stuck with just a basic Terran composition, right?
Yeah, he didn't like all his heirs, the Vikings. He didn't really
just
do.
Vikings.
He got a couple Ravens, obviously, because he's seen the
Yeah.
interference matrix, but he hasn't really lost them. So he hasn't had to rebuild that gas expensive unit. He's obviously got the bank, and now that he's broken through, he's still going to have a hard time, I think, closing this out. But I think we're going to end up with Benbot starved out more than anything.
Oh yeah, Benbot is pretty much starved. He is choking on the final bits of his.
This may finally, actually, as you look here, the SCVs aren't repairing this either.
Oh no, they have so much money too. That's unfortunate.
They've got so many.
They just gave up.
They've got so many minerals, but they have no gas to repair anything with.
Well, but
So,
do you need gas to repair a planetary?
A planetary, doesn't a planetary cost a little gas?
Oh, it does to transform into. I'm thinking orbital.
A normal, yeah, exactly. A normal orbital,
planetary.
yes, you could repair indefinitely, but I think this you need at least a few, and he's got none. And here we're at the base that was not
So
mining.
that hurt him more than I thought. I thought the repairs on the planetary would just be endless because he had so many minerals. But yeah, if he's dipping into his gas bank, that's really going to cut back on his ability to replenish his battle cruisers, his expensive gassings, even getting upgrades. You can see he's behind, just barely. He did finally get 3-3 on the mech armor attack, but yeah, Tyr was able to powerhouse through and won that war of attrition. I'd say that was I'd call that a war of attrition.
I think
I think it
falls
could
in
qualify.
that category. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, well, this is a best of 3, so Benbot is not out of it just yet. He's going to have one more chance, but keep in mind, this is it. This is the chance to get into the round of 8, or your chance to get tossed into the scrap pile, and Benbot is just one game away from that reality. Let's see what happens. But nice win out of Tyr. Really solid play. Really solid play out of both of those bots. It really was neck and neck for quite a little bit. Benbot really held a lot of Tyr's advances. 3, 4, 5 really strong attacks. He was able to hold back.
Yeah, definitely Benbot the more efficient one, but for just being shorter on bases, not able to actually take those fringe ones, and then for whatever reason not taking those gases, really cut into Benbot's ability. It's really a repair-based bot. The idea is that expensive things get damaged and you repair those back. Well, that takes a lot of resources out of you every time that the DCs get pushed back and so on. So, he just kind of got smothered out of it and couldn't keep it up. But yeah, Tyr having that map control, certainly really good.
Yeah, well, and I am curious how much that base not having mining gases impacted the outcome of that. Because if he had 2 more mining gases, he's able to repair that planetary a lot longer. He's able to maybe repair those battle cruisers a lot faster because he finally has some more gas. Anyway, game number 2 is ready. Let's hop in to see what happens.
Tyr and Gertians.
Tyr.
Glossiers.
Benbot BC. Is that it? We did them? Okay, those were the intros.
Think so.
We're ready.
Yeah. Looks like Benbot going for the same thing, the proxied barracks here, and see if it may not get scouted this time since it is on the high ground, but it didn't look in some sense it was almost to Tyr's detriment a tiny bit that it got scouted because he seemed to be a little more defensive than he had to be early, and he handled it anyway with really a tank can take it out. So you don't have to overreact to it, you just have to react appropriately. So it may work out actually that he didn't see it.
Yeah, I think it's very important to make sure your bot doesn't overreact and just attack into things, because we see some bots do that, and it does not usually work out well. So really good restraint out of Tier to hold back and just wait till he had the proper composition. Yeah, good stuff. All right, we're here on Dragon Scales. I believe the poll is closed. Wow, 21 votes. Thank you for voting, everybody. Very even, 52 to 48%.
Yeah, these are both well liked bots, and it's a relatively even match, of course. And of course, everyone out there that voted should certainly upvote and share this stream.
Your vote matters.
everyone.
Make sure you hit that thumbs up.
hit that
Vote
like,
up
hit that
for
like.
ProBots.
Yeah.
That is pretty much voting for ProBots.
It
when you hit
is pretty
that
much
thumbs up
voting for the robots.
for the
Always.
robots and ProBots. All right, bunkers up. Oh, doesn't quite get the SCV. The SCV of Tier will make it home. Ooh, barely made it home. Oh, don't go back out. Okay, that's fine. Somebody repair that SCV. He's seen battle. He needs a medal and a nap. He's hurting. All right, we'll see how much this slows Tier down. I don't think it's going to do that much. Again, it will slow down his ability to get the second base a little bit, but it doesn't really feel like Tier cares about that. Tier's just going to do a defensive slow push out, kind of regardless. Now, I wonder if he's doing that just regardless, or if it is a response to seeing the bunker.
Yeah, I feel like the bunker and the high ground must be at least a response to seeing the bunker. Like, that's probably more defensive than you're going to be, because generally if you're one basing and building up, you're probably good anyway. But yeah, it's I think we know he's going to be okay, at least if he's doing it all a similar thing, and we're going to see the first tank and Tier out now. If that can get down into the ramp again, then yeah, then he's going to be all right. It feels like it's more Marines faster on Benbot's side, though. I don't know. If
A little bit, yeah. There actually feels like there's more Marines than usual here as well. Benbot usually
Because
doesn't
he's doing this. Okay,
commit
yeah,
this much.
Yeah,
right?
this is way unusual. Because usually this is not. Yeah, like you said, it's not an all-in. It's not a big commitment or anything. There's actually
gonna go.
There's some concern that this goes down and then 20 Marines or something is way too much.
They should go. If this bunker goes down, oh, he's actually going to go before the. Oh no!
No,
He went before the bunker went down, and that sabotaged everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
if all of a sudden 12 Marines had shot across there, they could have potentially got to the tank before being taken out. But yeah, going early massively backfired.
That could have been just enough to overwhelm that first tank. A second tank was just behind it, but I think the timing was there that the Marines could have overwhelmed it. That was so close. Oh, wow. All right, well, Tier is going to hold. So he's looking good, but it's not over yet. Benbot does still have a good army supply. He does have a second base coming down, so this wasn't a full all-in. It really is evened out, actually. I'm not too worried about Benbot. At least not yet.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it can certainly stabilize from here as long as he doesn't just continue to stream the Marines over and over and over. And it could actually work out that if he's got a large Marine army just kind of out on the map, that it prevents Tier from getting the same sort of map control that he had in the last game, and maybe evens out what the economies end up being. And
yeah, that'd be a good way to do it. Just starve Tier out first before he can.
This is interesting, though. He's putting kind of this forward bunker, but on like the low ground in kind of no man's land here, which I don't know, it's way too close to this ramp that if he kind of spots it, he's going to be able to,
a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to be able to shell it from the high ground. So
a Marine poke there.
Yeah, I don't know how much that's going to help, but it's all minerals. And we've seen that Benbot's strategy usually is much more gas intensive. So if he's still going to the same thing, there's a slaughter.
Oh, the slaughter. They get pulled up the ramp by the tank fire and eviscerated. Even the Marines in the bunker unload and run to their just absolute demise there. And that might actually just be enough to break Benbot, where Tier could just push and win. 27 army supply to 8 at the moment. Big tank advantage for Tier. He just has to go get those tanks into a position in the natural, and Benbot's done. Oh, that hurt. That was a lot of dead Marines. It's those ramps. We talk about it every single week. How detrimental those ramps can be and how dangerous they are.
41 Marines dead is crazy for this early in the game. And to have so little damage done on the other side. Tier going for a third base as if nothing happened.
Reminiscent of when they went to Klendathu and Starship Troopers.
True. That's true.
Casualties. Tons and tons of casualties. Oh, that was unfortunate. Well, does Tier just win because he has a third base finished and already mining, right? Does he have it mining? Yeah, he's got a couple.
Yeah, he's... It certainly puts him on a much quicker path to get where he needs to be. And really the only thing that was keeping Benbot alive last time was one really good bunker and tank positioning at the natural. But the path the path differences make a lot of difference. In this game, he doesn't really have to come down the middle and get channeled in this weird high ground between the fourth and the natural thing. He can just go take out the third and not have to fight any of that. So I think it's a lot of things are just tipped in Tier's favor this time around. And if Benbot is sending out another detachment here, which he is, it's hard to see that these guys aren't going to just kind of run into a very
I don't think they're coming home, Endersword.
Yeah, no.
I don't think these boys are coming home.
They don't appear to have... actually, they will by the time he gets there. I was going to say they don't have combat shields. It just finished. He is going to run out. There's a bunker to the bunker to the right of me, tanks to the left. Here I am. No.
Yeah, they do take a couple of extra hits, but with that many tanks, any ground attack without support is just folly and will result in failure, which it does.
Yeah,
that is another big loss.
This has also been happening all game too, and our observer first pointed this out when there were like 4 of them. But there's a bunch of SCVs that have just been rallied to this point the whole time, and
they're ready for the counterattack. Man.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up exactly.
Yeah, it is. They could be on the third base. Yeah, it seems like Benbot's kind of stuck on just 2 base, building a lot of Marines. He is upgrading. He's got Widow Mines and Vikings and things like that coming out. So there have been some tech advancements, but it really feels like Benbot is just stuck. Oh, there's a third base coming down now on the right side. So he was just really delayed in his economy, and I don't think he has enough to be able to hold it back. He doesn't have any battle cruisers this time, Endersword.
Very true. The turrets here is just keeping the Ravens from getting the high ground vision, and that Viking comes out to try and push those back as well. If he just swung in from the side, I think he'd be able to shell this bunker. It looks like it's just barely in range of some of the tanks.
Yeah, well, last time he was able to break out because of the battle cruisers.
Yeah.
He doesn't have those this time. I don't know. I wonder what the decision was to really sit on 2 bases for so long. Maybe he felt threatened by the tank count or the army supply out of Tier and just wanted to sit a little bit more defensively. Maybe just the base count. Yeah, maybe he thought Tier was still on 2 bases for a while or something. Ooh.
Yeah, definitely. They keep streaming down to try and get to that third base. But
brave little SCVs
they're not
doing their
make
duty.
If that turret burns down, then that's going to make, which it did, could make a difference because the Ravens, I think, were too hesitant to get close to that. And we're now going to have a couple Vikings by Tier push in, and they may be the ones to now spot for the high ground. Yeah, there we go. And 2 volleys, and that bunker is completely gone.
Yeah, that turret was a big deal, losing that. It was a Nostradamus level prediction. The turret on fire with 2 HP. I think that's going to burn down.
It might. I mean,
that one might burn down.
I'm not going to say I have a gift, but we all saw that.
We all saw it. You were there. Yeah, this is last little stand here for Benbot, but Tier has got him in a chokehold. He's trying to get a third base mining to the right there. I'm curious, does Tier just not see it? Can we check his vision over?
I think he saw it earlier. He must. I
No,
guess
he
he
doesn't see
doesn't.
it.
He saw the SCVs go, but He actually saw the command center floating by him for sure.
That doesn't mean
But
anything.
that doesn't mean it
Eversword.
landed anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't. To a bot, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's a command center flying. You can't predict a command center's flight path as a bot. You know, yeah, you might be able to a little bit if you do a lot of coding for predicting flight paths for command center. I don't know. That seems like a weird thing to do.
That number is now over 50. And it will soon be over 6. Where are these SCVs even coming from? I think he's now pulling them from his main his main
It was that
base.
mineral bank from last
Yeah.
game. He's like, I gotta
Yeah.
spend it. We're gonna build SCVs and throw them at the tank line. That'll buy us time.
Yeah, he's down to only 32 SCVs as he's transferred out of these bases to the completely doomed third. A Thor is about to die at the bottom of the ramp, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, we've got somebody who wants to see a
Oh.
Zergbot do individually control Banelings and do perfect micro. Endersword, can you tell us why Banelings are not good in the bot scene?
Yeah, weirdly, it's because Banelings, in order to be effective, need to be clumped up. Like, they need to have other units be clumped up. And it's very easy for people to split their units as well. So you end up mostly connecting one Baneling to one unit. Then on top of that, because they can prioritize their fire, you end up having Marines and stuff like that just snipe all the Banelings down before they ever connect. So it's one of those things where, like, if you can control them perfect, they're good until the other army is also controlling perfect, and then they're terrible.
Well, it's
So,
also one of those critical mass scenarios, too, where
Yeah.
if you do have an overwhelming number, yeah, it doesn't matter how well the opponent splits, you're
Yeah.
just going to blow them up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that worked. But it's hard to get to that point.
it's hard
A
to
lot
get
of
to
the
that
time.
point, and if you can get to
Really
that
hard to
point, you might as well just get to another point and have a bunch of
We'll win
yeah,
easier,
exactly.
yeah.
Have a bunch of other things that win the fight. So, yeah, it is kind of one of those things that it's hard to make work. We see too occasionally disruptors work, but you rarely get more than a unit or two with them. Generally, anything like that that's kind of like splashy doesn't tend to work that well because people can just get out of it.
Yeah. Indeed, good explanation. Well, Tyr will win this fight, and he will win the series. Tyr is moving on, and keep in mind, Tyr is one of our team bot. He has a team of authors. That's what I'm saying. He's one of the bots that has a team of authors working on him. Tyr and Gertian, looking good there. Is Tyr, and Benbot is going into the Crusher. And just
Yeah.
did you warm it up?
I did. It's nice,
Excellent.
warm. It's counterproductive to be warm because the electromagnetics work better at near absolute zero. But still, it's there. It's
Wiped.
there.
Your bot is
Yeah.
no more. Sorry, Benbot.
Oh well.
All right. Well, that was our first match of the night. That was quite a way to start things off. Really close game number 1. Game number 2 definitely seemed a lot more
I think he
interesting.
was trying to, just like you said, just the build going
Focus
into
away.
it doesn't really. It seemed maybe something less practiced. I don't think we've seen him do anything like that before. And I do kind of wonder if Benbot maybe in this last update accidentally broke a thing or two
Always
because
possible.
because of that not taking the gas. Although I think some of that may have been that he was attempting to take the gas in the bottom middle base, and because that base never got up, he never went over to the new gases or something. But so I think there were a glitch or two in there on what he was doing. But here, Tyr taking it, looking very strong.
Good series. Good way to start things off tonight. Again, this decides our round of 8 tonight. We already have 4 bots waiting. Here they are. Eris, Kaninana, Xena, Micro Machine were all winners last week. And Tyr has now joined the ranks. And we'll be going up against, who was it? Micro Machine? Is that what it said?
I think so. We do have a replay playing here. This is Tyr moving up the ramp into this often doomed planetary fortress. And then here, this was just kind of after the main event. That
Yeah,
a
right
bunch of-
after all the Marines got
all killed
slaughtered.
themselves.
Yeah. That's brutal.
And the final breakup here, and finally taking the turret out.
Nice. I like our replay feature. We just implemented that. We are still tweaking it a
Yeah.
little bit. So if we do miss exciting replays, sorry, but we can check them out later. All right. We have got another series in the works. We've got it getting loaded up right now. Let's go ahead and start talking about our 2 bots coming up. Ketch
Yeah,
versus Dominion Dog. We've got another TVT. It's the night of TVTs.
it seems to be. And this one is probably the biggest, I guess, most surprising consolation match that we've got. Is Ketrock is a former champion, and still has a very high elo and high performance on the SC2 AI ladder, with 2141 and a high win rate. Ketrock is a very patient bot that just makes good decisions. It kind of smothers his opponent, tends to use things like Ravens, Banshees to just really take a lot of map control and just slowly advance.
Yeah, we had Laughing Games on last week, and he put it well. He's a very almost standardized bot. He's just really sturdy, really strong. Is really hard to beat because he has such solid macro, really good unit retention, like some of the best unit retention I think out of any of the bots. That was Dominion Dog. I was about to talk about him, but I guess we're not going to. Dominion Dog is also awesome. He's got the coolest hat in the business.
Yeah, he's also made the finals, I think, before, and or at least round of 3. I forget what was on the card now. And but yeah, it's also just one of those ones that's quite strong, good Terran. So seeing them both in the consolation match here is a shock. But let's see what these games look like.
Yeah, someone's got to get knocked out. Let's go ahead and hop into our next best of 3. Thank you once again for being here on ProBots Day 5. One of these bots about to go into the scrap pile. Let's find out who it is. Ketrock versus Dominion Dog. Let's go.
Ketch rocks.
Ketrock.
Fidelina and underdogs.
Dominion Dog. What's actually?
Yeah,
You guys drink Yellowtail in Australia, laddie? Is that a thing?
I thought
I gotta know.
I always
have
thought
to know
of it as
Undersword.
Australia. Yeah.
All right. Well, while he gets
knows?
together a response for me, we are here on Golden Aura with another TVT for you.
Yeah, we are
What's
indeed.
going on? What's going on with these two?
We got Ketrock doing the standard Reaper block here with his build, and I don't know. It looks like one base tank Viking is going to come out of Ketrock. Is that a thing he does? I don't know that I've seen that. I must have seen it before, but usually we get more of a multi-base macro, Raven, Banshee, that sort of thing. But it looks like he does vary it up. I mean, we've definitely seen Ketrock use bunker rushes. We've seen Reaper rushes, things like that out of him when he feels it's appropriate. So it looks like this one base tank Viking play may be the thing to be.
Yeah, we have seen Ketrock definitely branch out and do a lot more different builds. Kind of like he's here, branching off from that more standard macro defensive play. So he is trying to, catch his opponent off guard from time to time, which is good. You have to do that, especially against a top tier opponent like Dominion Dog, who's actually taken the really greedy route and has already got a 3rd command center on the way. Greedy Dominion Dog. And I like that response because we do see Ketrock typically play a little more defensive and just get 4 bases before we see an attack, right?
We do see exactly that, and that may be exactly why he's not doing that. If he is just going to get, and I wonder if this bunker up front is to deny the scouting or have Dominion Dog not realize that he hasn't taken his natural. But yeah, if he is just planning a one base tank Viking push, then this would explain why. That if he's got the sense that Dominion Dog's going to try and be really greedy and that you can just go crush that, then it seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah, this is another one of our bots that is created by a team as well. Fidelina and Underdog, creators of Dominion Dog. So we haven't seen any necessarily super big advantage, right, from a team bot authors versus like a single bot author, right?
we say,
Does
I
that
mean,
make
I
sense?
guess it's hard to parse, right? Because you don't know who's contributing what, like whether it is. I mean, we can say that our longtime most winning bot has been Micro Machine, and that's always been a team, a duo. That
That's
makes
what I'm
them.
curious
So,
about. Is does it
yeah.
actually provide a substantial advantage
Yeah.
to do it as a team? Because on paper, in theory, a single person, a single author, could create the exact same bot
Yeah.
that a team of authors does. But I do think there is definitely some sort of advantage, at least when it comes to theorizing and coming up with strategy,
Yeah.
things like that. When you have two authors looking at it, right?
Exactly. And there's things that are just time consuming too that you just got to really
That's a
plan
big
out,
part too.
code out, iterate
didn't
out,
think of
like
that.
how it's going to be. And there's coding is one of those things of nobody knows everything. So like somebody may just know a solution to a problem that the other person doesn't. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, whatever.
So it speeds up your bot creation process,
Yeah.
I would say, as well, in that regard.
Definitely.
All right. Just
Yeah.
curious things to think about.
Yeah, I always figured it's kind of a two heads are better than one as long as you can
Assuming the
work
two
well
heads
together.
communicate and get
Yeah.
along together.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Assuming they're not trying to eat each other. Well, Dominion Dog with a 4th base already. Ketrock just sitting on 2 at the moment. Despite that, Dominion Dog doesn't have a huge lead just yet. It's not huge. It's big, but it's not huge.
Yeah, and I wonder if Ketrock like called an audible here to change, or if this is still going to be. I mean, he called it one base Viking tank, which he obviously hasn't pushed, but he has gone up. I don't know.
Well,
if he
maybe
saw
it's a
anything.
defensive one base tank Viking, right?
Like, maybe, yeah,
He didn't say it was an attacking one base tank Viking.
I guess. But he says you usually don't say like something is a whatever unless there's a timing. It's
Well, some
not
bots
a,
do.
I'm going to open this and then I'm going to expand. I guess some bots do.
Isn't there a bot
everything.
that's like, I'm attacking, I'm retreating, I'm attacking, I'm retreating? I can't remember.
Well,
who it
we
was.
do have, I think a couple that do that. But generally, like if you're to describe a build as a one base blah, it doesn't then imply that you build a second base.
Yeah.
Or at least implies there is an attack before you do. Like it usually refers to the timing that you're hitting.
Okay.
But yes, the bot world is different, and the bot
different
world
beast.
may change its mind and do other things. I mean, we also have bots that definitely say like early expand, and they expand at like 8 minutes. And
Yeah,
like,
and then just do something totally
they're like,
different.
oh, it's earlier than my other build or something. But yeah, so who knows?
Touche.
But yeah,
Whew,
Dominion
man.
Dog, I feel there was an opportunity to hit early, but Dominion Dog really is taking a pretty strong economic lead here. And we are seeing Ketrock go into Banshees now.
It's at the point where even if Ketrock does push out and deny one of these bases, who cares? Dominion Dog would still have double the bases of Ketrock. So he's really just playing into Ketrock's passivity and expanding like a Zerg and just taking base after base. And it is a little bit dangerous because there's no scouting from Dominion Dog, right? I don't think I've seen a unit leave his sphere of influence. Maybe an SCV at the beginning of the game, but I haven't seen anything go out and scout in quite some time. Or either bot. They're both just sitting at home
Yeah, neither of
doing
them
that thing.
Upgrade.
did. Yeah, neither of them
That's
did
a
it
choice.
whatsoever.
That's a choice.
But
All right, here we go. Finally, Ketrock is going to start pushing. Oh, no, just
no, he's just taking the third. Yeah.
Just taking the third. All right. Well, make sure you, while we've got this downtime before the big engagement, I see a lot of thumbs up there. We appreciate that. Make sure you do hit that thumbs up on the YouTube if you haven't yet. Gives us some visibility and gets more people in here so they know about the bots. This is an upcoming scene. It is a little bit newer. A lot of people are still just discovering that StarCraft bots exist. So help get the word out. Let them know.
Yeah.
Tell all your friends. These bots are awesome. I am so excited to see these bots go up against the humans this season.
Yeah, I think
they're going to be
they're-
so good, man. It's going to be
A
so
lot
good.
of them gotten a bunch better.
Cyclones are going to not get anything, just going to poke a little bit. Ketrock playing safe. Again, Ketrock has, in my opinion, some of the best unit retention out of any of the bots. So I'm not too afraid of him poking with a smaller army here. And it's actually not even smaller. He's got more army supply, technically.
Yeah, very close, but yeah, he does have a bit at the edge.
Loses the Banshees.
The sight blocker here really important. As the Thors.
Yeah, that does affect the tanks now that the Banshees kind of got killed off. There are more air units coming in for Ketch Rock. Yeah, that sight blocker is one of those things like ramps, where the bots really struggle with it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. They just forget what's on the other side. Like they don't really have a good sense of it. And so unless they can poke through, they're just kind of blind if they don't have the sight.
Love the SCVs repairing with Ketch Rock's army. That is such an important part of Terran mech plays. And the SCVs do die, but they died valiantly defending these tanks. Doing their darndest there. But Minion Dog's going to push back with the Thor Viking Banshee play.
Yeah, and I think this has bought enough time, too, that Ketch Rock is now really developing on that side of the map. The economies are starting to look a lot more similar. Dominion Dog does have an advantage in the upgrades, as you can see there, but it's all level 1 stuff, and there's still time in this. It looks like the Hyperflight rotors are about to finish on Ketch Rock's side.
Oh yeah, welcome everybody who came from Loco's stream. We definitely appreciate you coming and checking out our tournament this season. Hopefully you are enjoying and interested in these bots. They're a lot of fun to watch, in my opinion. So, yeah, you know, you might learn something. Some of the things you're going to learn aren't applicable to human play, but it's still fun to watch and learn.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you see stuff that really humans can't do anyway, and sometimes you see stuff that humans wouldn't want to do. But yeah, you get to see
way to put it.
You get to see the potential of a lot of units that in a ways that you wouldn't necessarily. And here, a bunch of Banshees just going after those turrets will cloak up. Luckily, they're gone there as the Vikings do come in, but he'll be able to stop this base from finishing.
That was really nice. Those Banshees were appropriately aggressive.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can see the air units, especially Banshees and things like that, be really scared of turrets and things like that. But these Banshees were like, no, we're going to target these turrets down, then we can cloak and keep doing some damage. So that was really nice, aggressive decision-making. Really good calculation there.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the hardest parts of the bot stuff is deciding when to really press something on. When you're taking too much damage, what should you be scared of or not? Because it's easy to make the decision like, should a Banshee attack a turret? No, probably not.
No.
How many Banshees should? How many should I be willing to lose to take one out? Does it accomplish something? Is this important? Things like that. Whether
well, then you get up to
yeah.
when there's 3 turrets. Which one do you attack first? Do you target one? Do you target them separately? Do you all these things? The Marines on the top right actually going to deny a base out of Ketch Rock. Ketch Rock trying to start expanding. He's hit that point where he's going to start expanding all over the map as well because he has really good mineral income. He's got a nice bank as well. But Dominion Dog is having none of it. Dominion Dog is on the bottom left and the top right, pushing right now and taking engagements.
That was some nice splitting there against the planetary, but they never really should have been attacking on their own there anyway. Now with the Thors to back up, this may be doable, as there aren't any Marines down on alive anymore.
You're gonna get it. Did you see it? So the Marines pulled back when they were damaged. Yeah, like you had mentioned, and they waited until the reinforcements were there, and then they just went for it, and it was enough to take down this base. Yeah, you lost some Marines, but that is what they're here for. They're here to make the sacrifice for the greater good. Dominion Dog is closing in, and I fear Ketch Rock might not have enough to defend. Let's see if the tanks are going to be able to hold the line here.
Yeah, it is a pretty good tank line, and he does have other things helping from the side, but yeah, we'll take him out. He won't lose this base just yet, but the damage is done on the other side and in the bottom corner as that base gets canceled once again. This one will hold for now.
Good decision making. You see it again. The Marines waiting. They know that if they attack into that planetary, it might be a little bit foolhardy. They're in a really precarious spot here, though. Below 2 ramps, with a lot of tanks and stuff up at those ramps, and they're slowly wiggling their way towards the other planetary. I don't know if you want to do that. They are really deep in enemy territory here. That's all right. A few more losses, not a huge deal. Dominion Dog has a great economy. Actually is a little bit low as far as minerals are concerned, but that's not as big of a deal, I think, when you get into the later game. Like we saw in our last series, as gas is. Gas is really important to keep those Thors repaired, to keep just any of your gas-expensive units coming out. More Ravens. Should you lose the Ravens, you got to replace them. Vikings, obviously, a huge part of this game right now. Air supremacy is going to play a big deal here, as Ketrock seems to be taking it. Does Ketrock have enough Vikings to actually hold the air and have his tanks clean up the Thors? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's enough.
Yeah, it's very tight here. He's kind of got... Ketrock has kind of the air control, but then you need enough damage here to deal with these. Is the planetary going to help out better this time?
I don't know. This
Maybe.
might be too many Thors. There's just not enough of a response to be able to get these Thors. Tanks can be good if you have enough of them in position, but the Thors are attacking just kind of everywhere.
They're too good at taking they're too good at taking the turrets out. And because a lot of what Ketrock tries to do is, of course, dropping a lot of turrets that end up delaying and doing damage to the army. The Thors just bop, 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 and those are all gone. So it gets the base there. He does obviously take attrition, but it's like I was, again, always say with Thors, it just adds so much stability. They can take so much damage without reducing their combat effectiveness. So you have a bunch of Thors in orange and red, but they're still firing the same. And it's not until you really push that over that you take them out.
Yeah. Okay, so, you know, despite all that, it looked like Dominion Dog was landing some of the biggest punches that I've ever seen, and he's really beaten back Ketrock. But Ketrock was actually ahead of in supply once that was all said and done. Yeah, they're both, like, maxed out now. But he was up, like, 10, 20 supply. Or just a little bit once those last couple of Thors from that attack died. So Ketrock is still not out of this yet. Again, that unit retention is key. He is keeping his Ravens alive. He has a great Viking force, and that is going to be huge in taking this back. If he loses the sky, it's all over. In TVT, I feel like whoever owns the sky doesn't always win the game, but if you don't own the sky, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
In a lot of different scenarios.
For sure.
Oh, I don't know. This is all gonna come down to, I think, who has more money to replace units.
Yeah, and I think given how Ketrock's being choked, I think that kind of goes one way. That Dominion Dog eventually is just going to have more, especially if he gets this base and ends this part now.
But yeah, Dominion Dog just needs minerals.
Yeah.
Those are pretty easy for Dominion Dog to get with mutants.
Yeah.
If you know, like the bottom left, there was a base that was just taken. Do a big mule drop, boom. You've got tons of minerals to supplement that huge gas bank that you have. So Dominion Dog, while Dominion Dog is down in supply, I think it's in a better position long term than Ketrock is. Ketrock's holding on, but Ketrock is losing ground.
I think he's gotta do something decisive. Like these Banshees have to wipe this and then counterattack in a very strong way. And they're not really able to because there's detection here. The Banshees have to be really careful about massing up. And so they're kind of coming in and picking them apart instead of just clean wiping it. And everything just takes time to do that. And then it's hard to launch a counterattack because the next thing is there. The next thing is there. Ketrock taking this top right base again should help out. If he can get these established and get an economy really running again, but he's effectively probably on 2.5 bases at this point.
At the moment, yeah, but if these 3 bases do get established, that's going to be a huge flow of income. Again, Ketrock is maxed out. That army can buy time. Those turrets are a really good way to buy time to stall Dominion Dog from being able to push it. I actually might take back what I said. I think Ketrock is now in the advantage just with that mass amount of Ravens.
Yeah, it's all been all about this counter. He had to get onto Dominion Dog's side of the map and start making that a problem. And then these Thors have to just be caught without detection at some point.
Jeez, these two bots are just so insanely strong. They are hitting each other with some of the biggest attacks and biggest punches that I have seen these bots pull off, and they're both weathering it like champs. But one of them I feel like is about to break, and it might be Dominion Dog. That army supply is starting to dwindle. Thors are attacking up a ramp into some tank fire. The tanks are getting repaired.
Yeah, the
so
tanks
they're not
helped.
going down. Oh, one dies.
Tanks helped a huge amount in delaying this out. Because had he been able to just chase that air up, a whole bunch of tanks can do some damage pretty quick to that stuff. Ketch is reestablished.
Wow.
Top base. He's reestablished multiple bases, including now the bottom left one.
That was so fast. That was such a fast re-expansion. I guess Ketch has the mineral bank to be able to do that. But just out of nowhere, it was like, what, 3-4 bases that were starting to mine out, and then boom, Ketch has half the map again. That's insane.
He's got to be careful here. As long as the army's not fighting all together, he's still all right.
This is it. This is going to be it.
He may not even take this engagement because of the site blockers.
I think the Thors are going to commit, and I think they're going to keep pushing through the moment. We lost all those Marines. The Thors are going to be able to keep pushing for a little bit, but I think once they hit... Okay, they're going to pull back. I was going to say, if they hit one of those bases, by that time, they're going to be dead. We already see a few of them really close to death. There goes one right now. I just don't think Dominion Dog has enough... I don't know, enough return anymore to keep this going.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a few times when it looks like he has a lot pumped up, and then it just doesn't really fight that well. In Ketch's tanks, even though there's only really a couple around, because there's so many other targets, the Thors don't pick them off well, and then they just end up doing tons and tons of damage to it. While that's not typically like your best, anti-Thor thing, like a siege tank, it just does so well because of how they're fighting. Like here, it's right there shelling on them, but it's going to be the last thing he kills.
Yep. Yeah, this definitely has been a close match, but I think Dominion Dog is starting to fall behind. Yeah, there's the BM Mules. At that point, Ketch really feels like he's got the lead, and I think it's almost warranted. And that's what Dominion Dog's really hurting for. It's funny, last series, we saw the gas was the problem, not having enough gas.
Yeah.
This time, not having enough minerals is the issue. And Ketch doing his mule bombs, should we coin them as mule bombs? Is that what we can call it?
Yeah, because I don't even know if I consider those manor mules as they're actually taking valuable resources.
It's like a mule nuke.
Yeah.
He just dropped like 3 mules on every single patch at that base and was like, I'm taking all your money. Yeah, I think Ketch's got this one. Dominion Dog's going to fall in supply. Wow, what a series. This was so back and forth. What an incredible series between these two.
Yeah, it's again another case of like AI-ness is if this many Thors ever got a good shot off on the clump of the middle of that air stuff, then this would be amazing. But because it's AI, they're just not going to do that. It's never going to be allowed to happen.
Yeah. Never, ever. Well, not never, but in this scenario. All right, well, that's gonna... Yeah, this is going to be the final little kind of skirmish, I think. We're going to see these Thors fight for a while, but there's just not enough. Dominion Dog has been starved out. I don't think Dominion Dog has, but half a base of income.
Yeah,
at this point.
Like it.
There's just not enough. I mean, soon the Thors aren't even going to be able to be repaired. So it doesn't matter. A lot of Marines coming out still to try to supplement this, but yeah, I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, I think Ketch hitting the... I mean, we were talking about Ketch almost starting to be starved out, and he needed to counterattack. He was able to do exactly that at the right time, and yeah, and here we are. I also think, once again, just the design of this map, I think the site blockers are so important to this fight.
A few fights have been very decided, I think, by the site blockers this game. Yeah, I said series earlier. This series ain't over. This is just game number 1.
This is game 1. There's
Jeez.
More to come.
Yeah, Thor's starting to panic. They don't know what to do. Do we go left? Do we go right? We don't know. They're going to choose to attack through the site blockers once again. The Raven will supply a little bit of vision, but that is going to be it. Ketch will take game number 1 in this series. We'll fast forward to get to game 2. I was going to ask something. Oh, yeah. Somebody had asked about the Banshees and the cloak, if the bots can see the shimmer. Do you want to talk a little bit about how the bots see everything?
They're-
Well, not everything.
Yeah,
but
so
most
they
things.
they do see it. So it's hard for like the bots either see something or they don't. So they see that there is a cloaked unit that's there, and they see it very clearly. So there's nothing like, oh, they could miss the shimmer of a DT walking by or anything like that.
If it's
So
in their
they're-
sight
yeah,
vision, they see it.
they see it. So they're perfectly aware that a cloaked unit is there. However, they are not always aware of what it is until it does something. So they don't necessarily know like which unit is which if different things are cloakable.
Look at all those mules. Oh, eventually we'll see the mules actually spell something out in the middle of the map.
yeah.
So make sure you keep your eye out for that, observer. I think Laddie's observing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep your eye out,
The
Laddie.
the other thing with the cloaked units is cloaked units are perfectly aware of detection fields around them. So they know exactly where the borders of any detection thing is at any
Yeah.
given time.
Cannons, ravens, turrets,
Yeah.
anything that observers, anything that could detect them, so they can stay out of the range. Or if it dies, we saw that actually in this game, where the banshees targeted down the turrets, right,
Yes.
and then cloaked. So they didn't bother cloaking
Exactly.
because they're like, well, we're in detection range, and then once the turrets were dead, we're like, oh, we can hide now. So
Yeah.
that was really good decision making. Great game. There was just a point. It's kind of like, in self defense martial arts, when someone's pointing a gun at you, and you've got to grab it and flip it around on them. That's what Ketchrock did to Dominion Dog. It felt like.
Yes. It did have that
Dominion Dog
feeling.
had Ketchrock on the ropes on almost no mining bases, and all of a sudden Ketchrock's got half the map, and he's pushing back everything, and ends up taking the game. So what a comeback, an amazing, well-deserved comeback out of Ketchrock. That was impressive. Again, I can't believe we're seeing some of these bots get knocked out.
Yeah, definitely.
To see either Ketchrock or Dominion Dog knocked out in this stage is insane. I was a little worried for Ketchrock there. He's got a reputation to uphold with his top 4
Yeah.
every season, I think.
Very, very true. And yeah, he was on the ropes, but the exact response at the right times. And that's often what he is waiting for is, of course, you're trying to get to a certain point in the game where you've now got the composition you need. And we were seeing early on, like a few Ravens dropping a few turrets. The Thors were just walking through them. You start to get that to like 12 Ravens dropping 12 turrets with a couple tanks, with a bunch of Banshees. And all of a sudden, you can't walk through that. You're just taking too much damage. But let's see game number 2.
Game 2, let's go.
Ketch rocks.
Ketchrock.
Fidelina and underdogs.
Dominion Dog. Dominion Dog smoking that wacky tobacco. All right, yeah, that is a good question. Just to continue that conversation on what bots can see, do they see tumors as well?
So they don't see tumors. So the real indicator is there a graphic in the game that would indicate something is there? So a burrowed widow mine does leave that little dot that can be seen. But a tumor in the normal game, if you haven't scanned it, you don't know where it is. So you can't see it. So it's not something sent to you as something to see. Same with a burrowed non-moving unit. If they didn't see it burrow in that location, then unless you see the tracks of it moving around, they won't be aware that it's there.
Well,
there's
even
no
if you
detection.
watch it burrow, it technically can't see it once it's done burrowing.
you
if
can't
it doesn't
see it.
move,
You're just
right?
aware of it, I guess.
It
that
just
was
has
there.
to. Well, it has to have something to be able to
Yeah.
store that information.
Yeah.
That it's there, right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it
can
down
get a
to
little
that.
complicated.
It can get complicated, particularly when you have races that have multiple things that can cloak or multiple abilities. One example you brought up was the lurker. Can you see that the lurker is there because it's not going to move? and you can't really see the lurker itself, but you can see the attacks that are happening, and then from that extrapolate where the worker must be.
Well, but does
is
the
my
attack
understanding of it.
give a visual cue of a lurker as a burrowed moving roach? You see that little amount of dirt when a lurker attacks. Does it actually reveal the lurker portrait?
I don't think it reveals the lurker itself. It just shows the spines.
You just
And
see the
then-
spines and then can assume
but
where
they-
it is based on.
Yeah, they emanate from a location, so it must be that location then. That's my understanding of it. And then how you handle that is then up to
Basically, the rule of thumb is if a human can see a visual indicator of it, the bot can and knows what it is
yes.
if it's within the bot's vision. So yeah,
Yes.
cloaked banshee,
For-
cloaked moving roach,
Yeah.
anything.
And that's true for cloak stuff. However, there are some indicators in the game that a human can see that the bots cannot see.
Oh,
So
really?
one of those, which is very important, is the bunker. So a human can see
Oh yeah.
if the bunker is occupied or not, and a AI cannot.
And
So
the
there-
only way the bot
yeah.
can tell is if it takes damage.
Yeah.
From the bunker, right?
And then tries to extrapolate how many units are in the bunker.
Well, but how do you know if you've taken damage from the bunker? Say there's Marines standing next to the bunker. How do you know it's not the Marines next to the bunker?
I think that's tagged different. I think it's
Is it
like
tagged different?
this one shot me versus there is some information I think sent of like who did what, but because the bunker can contain multiple things as well, you could have 2 Marines and a Marauder in it or something.
Oh,
And
that's true. Yeah.
Then it's
Or a
not
Reaper.
necessarily even all the same. So I don't even think it's perfectly accurate what they get, but it's more, yeah. Whereas
Well, you'd
so a
have to
human can see
calculate
the
it-
windows.
You'd have to calculate exactly what damage you took, like
Yeah.
the amount of damage, and then be like, well, if it was this amount of damage, then it was obviously a Marauder shot. But then you have to take into account upgrades at a certain point, right? Like
Yeah,
it just
that
gets
too.
crazy
It
complicated.
gets complicated, and that's what, yeah, that's obviously what all the programming effort and stuff is. Another thing that I'm not sure that there is a clear indication on is the high sec tracking for things like turrets.
Oh,
So definitely early in this tournament's life, you saw a lot of people like they knew that a Banshee stayed outside or Mutas stayed outside the turret range, and then if they upgraded the turret range by 1, they would just keep flying into it and just stay there at the edge, acting confused that they were getting hit, because
Yeah.
it wasn't able to detect that the range had increased.
yeah. It's like, what's hitting me? There's nothing in range that should be able to hit me.
Yeah.
technically. Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, things like that. There's a lot of complications to it, but yeah,
It's a lot of little things that as a human playing, you don't have to think about because the computer essentially takes care of it for you. And your brain can extrapolate, oh, that Banshee or that turret's shooting me, I should move away.
Mhm.
With a bot, you have to be very specific how you tell it, what's hitting you, what that is, if it's hitting you with this in a certain range in this scenario. A lot
And
of
you
little
have
things
to
that you have
be
to teach it.
you have to be very specific too, or almost in some cases blurrily specific. We were talking in the previous game about the Banshees attacking the turret, and one way that you can deal with something like that is say, well, if I have 5 Banshees and there's 1 turret, then go ahead and attack. But then what you have to be careful of is you just told it 5 is okay and 4 is not okay. So in the process, if you lose 1, then will they retreat?
And not
So-
kill the turret
and
in
not kill the
response or
turret
whatever.
because you gave it a limit, a hard number. And so something that you will often see, you see less now that people's micro is just a lot better, a lot more sophisticated. But what you saw a lot before is that people or armies would essentially move towards their opponent and then step away and move towards and step away and move towards and step away because they had like this edge condition of how comfortable they were.
Yeah.
And
Well, and I think
yeah.
the bot authors are getting better at giving them a little more leeway, giving them a broader range of,
Yeah.
all right, if I've got 20 mutas, attack. If I've got 19, keep attacking
Yeah.
unless there's X amount of turret or something. Don't just hard pull away if I lose 1 muta, because I could still kill a lot of SCVs with my 19 other mutas, whatever the case is.
Yeah. Now the Banshees and Cyclones here coming in on the Thors. And
Fight has begun.
yeah, looks like this is much more efficient at taking out the Thors of Dominion Dog this time around, as the
Yeah, it's doing a
Cyclones
lot.
do quite a bit of damage.
That's doing a lot of damage. Thor needs to go repair. I think this one might survive. Yeah, here we go. One SCV. Oh no, the SCV leaves. Oh, the Thor dies. I don't think it was going to survive anyway. More Cyclones were coming in. Wow, Ketrock really just wants to take game number 2 here. He's so much more aggressive in this game than we saw in last game. There's already 5 bases now for Ketrock, matching the 4 of Dominion Dog, which is insane. Yeah, Ketrock flipped a switch. It was like, oh, okay, you want to play greedy? I can play greedier while doing crazy damage with my Cyclones. So this is an awesome opening for Ketrock. It is still very even, though. The supply almost even. A little bit of a worker advantage for Dominion Dog, but those 5, now 6 bases on the way for Ketrock, I think are going to play a bigger deal than worker count at this point.
Yeah, and that's going to even up very quickly with Ketrock doing, more bases at this point, and actually some of the workers dying there as they're trying to take this middle base.
Sneaky boy.
Yeah, so we're close to evened up, only a 4 difference now. And the Thors really need some sort of support here because it's just getting chased out in the open and absolutely picked apart by the much more mobile Ketrock army.
Yeah, this is a solid army this time out of Ketrock to deal with what Dominion Dog is doing. The Viking Raven force is really nice to just control the skies. He can obviously deal with the Banshees really well with that, as long as he keeps his Viking numbers up. Keeps more than Dominion Dog, then Ketrock's going to be in a really, really good position to just keep pushing and maybe sniping Thors. That's going to be a big part of it, just picking off those really expensive units and not letting Dominion Dog mass up to a critical Thor number where they can just barrel through again. I think in this scenario, though, Ketrock is really taking the reins and is just in a dominating position right now. While it looks very even supply-wise, there's a lot in the works behind the scenes here for Ketrock to be able to just keep producing and keep pushing and keep Dominion Dog on the back foot.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things hurting Dominion Dog right now is this obsession with trying to take this middle base when it doesn't look like it's in the cards. And he keeps kind of moving the army out into this just very exposed spot on the low ground surrounded by these multiple high ground locations, and it just doesn't look like he's getting it established. He is massing up a lot more now, though. The army is a lot more stable. There's more supply there, and I think the Viking count has helped that a lot.
Yeah, he has to control these guys. There are so many Banshees out for Ketrock. If they're allowed to reign supreme, they will kill a lot of things. I feel like we saw almost not this exact scenario, but on this map, there was another bot that was really struggling to take this position and kept trying to push up and kept trying to build a base there, but just couldn't. This is a really hard spot to hold.
It is. It's just this small platform high ground that you can see these tanks now getting involved and really doing a lot to support. Your air and army obviously don't want to stay together through this, but you just every time you're going up these steps, you're paying for it with just one tank hit or Cyclones locking on and hard to chase them.
Wow, one tank hit is pretty big, especially against the Marines. You'll note there are no medevacs to support this. So these are StarCraft 1 pre-Brood War Marines where they don't heal. Yeah. They just attack until they die. And that might actually be hurting Dominion Dog a little bit. While Dominion Dog is maxed out, a lot of these Marines are starting to get bruised, and they're not going to have a lot of retention to be able to bust through planetary fortresses in that scenario. If they're one shot away from death, they're just going to get cleaned up. Here you go. Here's a good little example there. That squad's just going to get wiped. Obviously, there wasn't enough there anyway, but it got killed a lot faster than if those Marines had been able to heal something.
Yeah, he's got his army kind of being pulled every which way now. He kind of conquered that little hill that he was stumbling on, but now the army is just kind of everywhere, and these Thors, are probably not going to make it back. As they get pulled out, they're attracted by this planetary, and they're being picked apart by Cyclones on one side. Yeah.
And the
We'll
Cyclone's
take him
doing
down.
work.
He did get the base in the bottom left-hand corner. That's good, as another Thor goes down to that planetary. And he's at least made it past that stumbling block through the middle. But all throughout this map, it's just constantly versions of that fight going up a ramp, down a ramp. And the Ketch air-based army is so much stronger on a map like this, where just there's too much in the way, and he can just get away too easily. The Vikings here, though, closing and actually doing a lot of damage against Ketch, but then the main Thor part of it being pulled away. If he could just get to a point where these Banshees get caught, then that's the huge thing. But so far, you just see it constantly in Ketch's games. It feels like they're about to get caught, and they just never do.
Oh yeah, they're really good at slipping away. Yeah. Again, Ketch's air control is some of the best in the Terran business. Are there any Ravens out for Dominion Dog at this point? I don't think there are anymore.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's a couple.
There's
Okay,
two.
there's two.
Yeah, there's two. There's turrets here providing some coverage too, but one
Okay.
just got taken out. He did pick up a couple, but he's not getting like. Again, the thing you really want with Thors is that big like splash hit that just hits everything and dominates, and very often like player versus player games, you just have a few Thors come in from the side, exploit that range, and bash everything. That's just not really happening, and that sort of planning for it to happen doesn't really occur in these bot games.
Well, and both bots are doing a pretty good job at not just clumping a lot of their units. Ketch obviously keeping his air units somewhat spread apart. They're clumping a little bit, but they're not going to take that maximum juicy Thor shot that you're talking about. Scenario, I don't think. Man, both bots are playing so well. Dominion Dog is really fighting here to hold its own side of the map, but Ketch is just spreading and taking base after base, and these Banshees are so slippery. Finally, one or two will go down, but they're really causing Dominion Dog a headache. It's like trying to chase a mouse as a cat. You're constantly chasing it through like little holes and just can't catch it. It's so frustrating. Can't catch those damn Banshees.
Exactly, and that's the plan, is just you tempt them to come after you. Here, a couple Banshees might go down. One did at least.
Yeah, one or two, but those are negligible losses at this point. Ketch has an amazing bank for this stage of the game, and it's only going to start getting bigger because Ketch's now maxed out. And the ball is in Dominion Dog's court to make something happen. I don't know if anything will happen, though. We're kind of in the last game scenario where Ketch just got a little bit too much control and was able to deal with these Thors. Is there not enough support for the Thors? What does this army need?
Yeah,
here?
I think the problem, a big fundamental problem, is the Thor's priorities. So the Thors, when encountered with Cyclones, tanks, Banshees, and so on, have a tendency to go after the Cyclones. And in some ways, you kind of have to push them out, or else they're going to lock on you and kill you. But the real thing that they need to be focusing on is the Banshees. But every time they try and go for a Banshee position, there's a whole bunch of ground units in the way that end up taking the Thors off to the right side of the screen, while these Banshees are controlling these high ground ledges, and you're just never going to get to it.
It's funny. As you said that, like 5 Banshees got just smoked by the Thors. Obviously, your point stands true. The Banshees are still reigning supreme on the high ground and that kind of thing. But that was some nice targeting. Dominion Dog really did get a bunch of good juicy
there's
shots.
Another good volley too.
There's a few. With that Raven, that's just what he needs. He needs the Thors to stay together and just boom, one shot, and just take those Banshees out.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing, and it's just not happening enough. You're going to get some, and this location has been the main fighting point the whole time, and the fact that this is all high ground, blocked, back alley sort of thing, there's no good way to get there.
Ooh, the SCV does get killed. I was going to say, Ketch is so confident that this SCV is building on the front lines, but the SCV did pay the ultimate price there for its cockiness. Took a Thor shot to the face. Oh, this is looking a little grim for Dominion Dog. We'll see if maybe something can happen, but I just fear the worst. Again, we're in that scenario where there's just not enough minerals to keep repairing, to keep replacing. to just keep expanding and keep taking over the map, where Ketch is already encroached onto Dominion Dog's territory. And that is always kind of a death sentence when you're up against Ketch.
Yeah. Yeah, you just keep them pinned in basically this exact same location, and you just take the rest of the map, and eventually it's going to cause them to starve.
What a great series, though. Wow.
Yeah,
he's definitely starving here.
Yeah, Thor's just being led to their death by the siren call of the Cyclone. And then just getting Banshee killed.
Like an Odyssey reference or something?
Yeah, I guess so. Or at least the broader mythology. Now, there was a pretty big wipeout of a bunch of Banshees, but...
That was the shots we needed 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. No, I'm surprised. I'm surprised they took that fight, because there's a couple turrets, a Thor standing in detection. But I guess.
Well, that's the thing, is because there was only like one Thor, so they all kind of bunched and grouped towards it. I think something. Yeah, here we go, another group, big juicy shot, but not going to be enough. Some phenomenal play out of both of these bots, though. I am very impressed. These two Terrans are seriously top of their weight class when it comes to this matchup. And I can't think of another Terran bot, honestly, that could take Dominion Dog down other than Ketch. Maybe Micro Machine.
Yeah.
Not even at that point, though. Dominion Dog has really done a good job against Micro Machine as of late.
I think a lot of the style is different than we've seen in the past. So again, the high number of Thors, things like that, just being really greedy economically, things like that, I think they're bode well.
Yeah. Totally.
But yeah.
I'm sad to not see Dominion Dog move on to the round of 8, but Ketch definitely earned its spot there, and it wouldn't be a round of 8 without Ketch.
No, for sure.
No. Gotta have that. All right, well, what a series. We're gonna speed this up and wrap it up. This is all but over, and that is our first half of the show here. But don't you go anywhere. If you're sitting there watching, go tell all your friends to get in here. We still have 2 more best of 3s. So I wonder if he can convert his minerals into Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin even still profitable? Like, if you buy Bitcoin, will you just lose money at this point?
It's been up and down. It's been relatively stable for the past little while. I mean, not stable, but but compared to its history, it's been relatively stable. It's the other ones that tend to fade up and out and quicker.
Well, like Dogecoin or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, all the shit coins and whatever.
Shit
but
coin.
yeah, Bitcoin and Ethereum tend to just stick around. I think Bitcoin's worth 20-something thousand now. It's nowhere near the high that it was at, in like 60,000, but it's around.
All right.
I don't know.
Hey, great series out of those two. A phenomenal TVT showing for both of our series there. We had 2 great TVTs to start things off tonight. Well, we have 2 bots that have now been tossed to the scrap pile, and we have 2 bots who have now moved on to the round of 8. So let's go and take a look at our bracket as we get ready to go on a little break here. We are going to have 2 more best of 3s, keep in mind. So stick around, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you get your friends in here. Get us a little more visibility with that thumbs up. Let people know that ProBots is happening, and we're getting really close to our round of 8. We have already got Ketch now moved on versus Kaninana. And here we'll be going up against Micro Machine. That is an awesome. I am excited for that.
That'll be a good one. Yeah,
that is a matchup that goes back to almost season 1.
Yeah, pretty much. That's like a 2017 sort
but
of
it is
matchup.
different because Tier's Terran now, so it'll be a little different.
Yeah,
that's still really exciting to see. I'm so glad to see that kind of matchup still. But yeah, we've got 2 more bots tonight that will move on and finish off our round of 8. And keep in mind, when our round of 8 is completed, we're actually going to open up a fantasy bracket in the challenge. So make sure you go to the bracket page, the challenge page. I'm sure we've got a link somewhere below me or something. Yeah. Go and follow that, and make sure you fill out your fantasy bracket. Come next, or wait, that should open up tonight.
It should be open, after the end of this.
Maybe, I'm gonna put the pressure on our production here.
Yeah.
That will open up tonight after our broadcast, our round of 8 fantasy brackets. Make sure you all go fill it out, have a little fun with us. All right, Endersword, anything you want to say before our little break here?
Just that we had a few good ones here. TVTs tend to be long. This may be a quicker second half of this thing, but let's see.
Definitely.
Looking forward to it.
We'll talk a little bit more about our other shows and stuff like that ways you can become a bot author, various things regarding that once we come back from our 5-minute break. So thank you all once again for tuning in to day 5 of ProBots, our final elimination round of our group stages. It's really exciting to have you here, and hopefully we'll see you after our break for 2 more best of 3s. We'll see you then. Welcome back, bot authors, grandmasters, original StarCraft players, whatever your class of life may be. Welcome to ProBots Day 5, and we are back with our second half of the show. We have got 2 more best of 3s and 2 more bots going into the scrap pile, Undersword.
We do indeed. That it's going to be a shame to see him go, but it'll be great to move on to our bracket after these are done. And we've got 2 pretty interesting ones coming up against each other here. Sharkbot, the Protoss player, who just looks jacked. Is that the first time? I don't think I've seen that portrait.
He has been working out. Yeah, that's his new portrait. He has been working out, and Sharkbot is here and ready to kick ass and move on. But he's not going to have the easiest time. He's got a pretty tough opponent, Dovah. These bots have faced each other a couple of times in the past, I would say. I can't recall off the top of my head if they actually have or what the outcome was, but I'm pretty sure that they have encountered each other, at least on the AI arena ladder, at the very least.
The very least. I think they all have.
Because they're right about that.
They play hundreds of games against each other.
Oh, yeah. Well, but these 2 are right about that same range, I feel like. Sharkbot, wait, what was
Sharkbot has
18, 19?
No, it was 2200.
Oh, was it 22? Oh, yeah.
Sharkbot is pulled absolutely.
Oh, wow, yeah, he's way ahead. I'm sorry, I read that
way
wrong.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's those gains. He's been working out. Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe Sharkbot is the favorite here. We'll have to wait and see. He does have a nice win rate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, make sure, again, you check out, before we get into this best of 3, we just kind of dived right into our bots coming up. Check out all the links below me. Endersword, we didn't talk about how you become a bot author at all. Let's talk about that real fast before we dive into our next best of 3. So there's a template available, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think multiple templates even.
Right down there.
Yeah, there should be in the link below. There's a whole Discord set up full of lovely people that will definitely help you get started. But yeah, there's a template that you can basically use, and it's already a working bot that you can then build and iterate off, so you can see what a completed one actually looks like. Start to use that, start to make tweaks to it, and you'll get a sense of how these things are made. They're obviously the ones that we're seeing at the top of this competition are much, much more complicated at this point. The sophistication's gone up, but getting into it is actually relatively easy. And there's different languages that you can use at this point. I think we've got at least 8 different languages in this tournament at this point.
We have got authors creating bots in languages that a StarCraft bot has never been created before.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of room for growth. Definitely check out, again, all the links below me. Check out our webpage below me. The new GitHub is where you're going to find that template for the bot. It's a Terran bot. There was one last thing I want to say. We're about to hop into our next best of 3. Post bots. Check out our show after ProBots. That is tomorrow night. We're actually going to have author of Sharkbot. That name right below me. We're going to have Shark Nice on the show. We've had him a couple of times to talk about his bot, his chat bot, which we're going to explain a little bit to you where Sharkbot comes from once we get into the series. Well, let's go and hop into our next best of 3 of the night. We've got one of these 2 bots moving on to the round of 8, and the other will get tossed into the scrap pile. Let's go.
Shark Nices.
Sharkbot.
Yatta Hunts.
Dovah. Well, things are going to start off very spicy here on Dragon Scales on our AI map. Sharkbot has sent out 2 probes to begin some shenanigans. What kind of shenanigans do you predict, Sword?
Typically, when you see such a thing, you're either going to you're either going to get Cananigans, or you're going to get Zealotiganans.
Is the StarCraft term for shenanigans when you build zealots.
Exactly.
Oh, looks
and
like
it
you're
looks
right.
like it's going to be the zealot shenanigans. Yeah. Yeah, usually the 2 probe often does indicate the cannon because you're going to have one build the actual forge and pylon and stuff, and the other one sneak in and try and put down an additional. Looks like we're going to get a 3-gate opening there. And Dovah did go hatch first. And has gone for the single gas steal, and this is interesting. Must know what Dovah's response is, which is that drones are attacking this, and this is just going to slow down a lot of what Dovah's doing, but it's not actually important because he could have just taken the other gas if he needed one. And I think we saw this before too, that a gas steal led to then idle drones that never went back to work.
Yeah, I wonder what would cause that. It's interesting.
I think we saw this exact thing before in Dovah's game, so I think this is somewhat a manipulation of what's going on. On the other side, we get more violence as the drone is going after probes, and looks like he's got 2 of them.
Two of them?
Two
oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a boss. He does die with 2.
That's probably worth 2, especially when both of them are really trying to push out what the mineral output can be. Like, he doesn't now have enough to start using all the gateways again.
Yes, we did see these 2 already. That is a good question. Much like in our first match of the night, we had seen that matchup, or our second match, something like that. We have seen these 2 in the first week, or no, I'm sorry, week 2. We saw. Wait, was it week 1?
I thought it was week 1, but
no, it was week 2 because we did groups A.
Yeah.
1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
sorry, the first round, but not literally week 1. Yeah.
Yeah. First round of games, but not week 1 is week 2. Yeah. Anyway, SharkBot did come out on top 2-0. So we'll see what happens. Now, I'm reading Dovah's updates. There were specific strategies put into place to combat both SharkBot or Kaninana. Kaninana was the other potential opponent that Dovah would face, but last week, SharkBot fell 2-0 there. But it looks like this time SharkBot has figured out how to kill a Zerg pretty darn efficiently. 3 minutes into the game, and we have got Zealots just ripping through the Zerg front lines. There's a couple Zerglings trickling out here or there. 14 in production, but it's not enough. Where are the Zerglings?
The problem is this trickle you speak of, because if he had been able to kind of group them up and then fight in a more coherent way, but they're just coming in 2 at a time, and they're just getting racked as they do.
Which is unfortunate because the Zergling, even off creep, could run away and group up with other Zerglings instead of attacking the Zealot. They're faster than the Zealots. Yeah, the Stalkers will start to put on pressure. Actually, I just learned, off creep, I probably knew this at some point, but a Stalker and a slow Zergling actually have the exact same movement speed.
Yeah, if one is chasing the others, then it's kind of a weird circumstance that they'll only tap when you like change direction or something. Getting this around on the Queen here, and it's unfortunate too that he kept not only coming with just this small string of flings, but just kept catching him on the ramp by accident. And
those are the worst places to fight a Zergling.
It's just like the most defensible spot, and so this has gotten out of control quickly. I think he, was making the right things and so on. Maybe, you could have stuck in a spine crawler or something, but unfortunately, it's just the way that he engaged, and SharkBot is going to take this first game pretty handily. There is the third base that's stuck out to the side there. He'll have to get that now.
Yeah, just hanging out. It's not going to do anything, but it was a good attempt. That's good. Dovah does have fallback plans. It does try to survive and continue on despite getting absolutely decimated there. But SharkBot looking really strong. So we didn't actually talk about SharkBot's chat bot.
Yes, you could see it a bit in there. You could see it a bit in there.
You saw a little bit. I wanted to mention there, but the game was over so fast that we didn't get a chance to talk about it. Tell us about SharkBot. So where did SharkBot come from?
He started as just a chat bot. It was just Shark Chat or something like that.
Those chat bots that you see online that you can have conversations with and ask it if it's real or not.
Yeah,
not
so
real,
that
by
was
the way.
that was the underlying thing, and then how that kind of got converted into an SC2 bot took a fair bit of transformation. But one thing still underlying it is it will respond in chat, and actually when we get to the player versus bots thing, it will actually respond to you if you type to it
Yeah.
in the game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We will talk more about that again. We're having the author of Sharkbot, Shark Nice, on PostBots tomorrow. So you can ask, if you come by and watch live, you can ask some questions about that if you have some, or just listen in and have a good time. It's a lot of fun. They go into a nice combo. Anyway, we have got our second game ready. Let's go ahead and see what happens in game number 2 here.
Shark Nices.
Sharkbot.
Yatta Hunts.
Dovah. All right, we are here on Infestation Station. That sounds like one of those. What was the old show like? Schoolhouse Rock. Is that what I'm thinking of? It's like a Schoolhouse Rock song.
Are you thinking of like Conjunction Junction?
Yeah, Conjunction Junction.
Yeah.
Infestation Station. Just like right along those lines.
Junction,
Yeah, since what were you saying? The
what's your
demographic of
function?
StarCraft watchers are 30 to like 55 or something.
I
They
was
know
saying,
what I'm talking about.
yeah, I was saying like another, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it does tend to be the people that followed it all the way through from original
Double gas
StarCraft.
steal.
This
Sorry
is
to
a-
interrupt
this-
you there, but this
yeah.
is big. This is a double gas steal.
Yeah. That's what he did the first time.
I thought he
they
only
fought.
did a single gas.
No, I mean the first time, like the first round of the tournament. They
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember now.
yeah.
I thought you meant last game. No, this is a big double gas steal. It is going to deny a lot of mining time from Dovahkin. Not a huge deal because there is a lot of minerals lost, 150 or so there.
This
Or
is the bigger deal, and this is what I remember from
2
week-
workers per thing. Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know why. And given that it happened in week 1, you know, maybe Dovahkin has a way to patch that out. I kind of wonder if it has something to do with the speed mining, because there are 16 workers on the mineral line.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you actually need more, but then them just kind of sitting there is odd.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh, that's
it-
true. So maybe
know,
they're just not quote unquote necessary.
they just may
in
not be
the
needed. Yeah.
Numbers. Oh, they're. Oh, okay. I thought they got backward. It's either that, or my thought was he had X amount attacking each assimilator.
Mhm.
Once it's done attacking, for whatever reason, it only tells 2 of the 4, or
Yeah,
however
to
many
go
were
back.
attacking, to pull back. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, tell unit 1 to go back, tell unit 2 to go back, and then stops instead of going 3 and 4 as well. Anyway, Zealots are going to deny this base, I think. There's just nothing out. It looks like Dovahkin's a little bit broken here. A little bit slow on the draw.
He had, yeah, I think this is quicker
Not
because
broken, but
because he went for the pool first this time around. But unfortunately, we're still getting this trickle out of like single lings. And if he was able to group up, like 3 zealots is surmountable when you've got a queen popping out as well. But it's just not
hold on.
it's not syncing up, and that queen is just insta dead because there's no lings there.
so I'm watching. I think when a drone dies, I think you're right. When a drone
when-
dies, it
yeah.
seems like those idle workers do get put onto the mineral line. Well, no, because there's way
No,
less
he
workers
didn't.
and there's still one there. I don't know.
It-
There's
it's-
something.
It
Something
started
funny
to
going on.
move and then it went back, but I think that is it though.
Yeah, something like that. It does. Yeah, it feels right. Anyway, Sharkbot's gonna take it. A quick 2-0 with some cheeky proxy zealots, and that is kind of what Sharkbot does. Sharkbot does proxy zealots. We've seen proxy oracles. We see a lot of cheeky things out of him, and it works out a lot of the time. So
Yeah.
keep it up. It's working.
Yeah, simple but effective, and
Excuse me.
and yeah, just Dovahkin never like groups up, like never withholds, is always just sending. the Lings out. And then when the queen popped out, the zealots were literally right next to it. Another thing that we've seen bots do, and this one did, is because the queen knows to inject the hatchery, when it pops out, she injects the hatchery right away. By the time that animation was done, she was essentially dead already. So,
Yeah, that'll wrap it up. Quick 2-0 for Sharkbot. So Sharkbot, congratulations, you are in the round of 8, and you will be going up against Xena. We have got one final spot, Endersword.
we do.
One last spot to fill out. Who do you think is gonna go there? We have got 2 new bots contending for the position. So I have no idea who's gonna take it, because we also don't have any update log. Oh no, that's a lie. We do have an update log for Octopus. But here's Osavi bot, brand new bot in Python. We don't know a whole lot about it, but it does have a pretty good ELO, right up there with what Dovah was. So
yeah, kind of a losing win rate, but in the high bracket. So again, that can be a little deceptive. But yeah, exactly, a high enough ELO to get into the tournament. Remember that there's like 50 plus bots on this ladder, and only the top 12 are getting in. On top of the 4 that come from the season before.
Some bots have one author has like 4 bots.
Well, there's a lot of that too, but so not necessarily 50 different people, but there's a lot of bots. Octopus V3 here, also 1600 elo. This one has shown some potential to get to late game carriers and void rays and things like that. So yeah, I don't totally know what to expect out of this game. It's going to be kind of, does Octopus get to play his game and get to that, Golden Armada stuff, or does Osavi bot end it quicker than that?
I'm looking at the update log. We don't have any updates for Osavi bot listed. Doesn't mean it wasn't updated. We just might not have notes on it. But Octopus has some Oracle updates, Endersword. So we might see a little dabbling. It's dangerous, but we might see a dabbling in Oracles in this game.
As soon as you say that, I'm like, okay, so Osavi bot's going to win?
Because, not necessarily. Sharkbot also uses Oracles and wins a lot. Sometimes, there's a correlation.
Yeah, we've rarely seen, historically, it's been a running joke that no Oracle has ever done very well. There's been 1 or 2 cases.
There's been one Oracle.
Yeah, one Oracle that did a lot, and frankly, they were winning already, but it still did do a lot. But usually, an Oracle, if an Oracle does not instantly kill itself, then it's usually that's a success on the ProBots level. But we'll see. Hey, if the coding's been done, then we'll maybe there's a good idea behind it.
Let's find out. We're going to hop into our final series of the night. Thank you once again for tuning in to day 5 here. Our final elimination matches of our group stages. We have got Octopus versus Osavi bot to wrap things up. Let's go ahead and hop into it.
Osavi's.
Osavi bot.
Hakados.
Octopus V3. All right, welcome to the ancient water basin on whatever planet this is. All right, PvP, a lot of mirror matchups tonight. A couple PvPs to start things off, and then a PvP to finish the night. It's a good. I like mirror matchups. A lot of people like to rage on them, but I think
they're good, especially in this bot world.
Oh yeah,
it can be interesting because you see people use it. We even get to see people using the exact same strategy, and then who ends up taking it. But yeah, they can be quite interesting. And Octopus looks like he was just checking to make sure there was no cannons down there or anything.
Who you voting for in the poll, Endersword? in the chat poll there. Get your
I
votes
don't
in, by
know.
the way. Get your votes in.
It's a hard one because the question is, who do you want to win as opposed to who do you think's going to win?
You gotta pick a favorite right now, Ender
Uh-oh.
Sword.
All right, my favorite will be Octopus because I like carriers.
I was gonna pick Octopus because I just think Octopus in general are really
Yeah.
cool. The animal, the
yeah.
octopus.
It's true.
They're really awesome.
They are
Did
neat.
you there's a cool Netflix documentary on
Yeah,
Octopus. It's like
my friend the octopus. Yeah, I haven't seen that. but
Oh my
I've
god, you
heard
gotta
of
watch it. You might
Yeah.
cry a little bit if you
might.
have any heart at all. You might cry a little.
I have seen the recent-ish Simpsons episode where Lisa gets an octopus, and it's kind of like a parody of that thing.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
it is actually a really insightful, really good show. So I do recommend it. If anybody is into sea aquatic life and octopuses in general, go check it out. But let's check out what is happening here on the Ancient Cistern. We have got a robo build for Osavi bot, which is going to go up against just a one base 3-gate opener, I guess, out of Octopus, right? Is that what's happening? Yeah.
does appear to be. And Octopus in previous games has leaned towards the Stargate as the follow-up to this, but Osavi, getting that robo. So both of them not looking to expand yet.
This is what I'm talking about. I want more one base head-on-head action here.
Mhm.
And especially in this scenario, I think the robo is very, very strong. Because all you're going to be able to get out of 3 gateways are Stalkers, Zealots, and Sentries, right?
Yeah.
Immortals are just dominating when you have gateway engagements. They are so good. Yeah, you can get them targeted down by big groups of Stalkers, or maybe get them force fielded into a precarious situation with some Sentries, but Immortals are king when it comes to one base versus one base gateway play.
Yeah, you essentially can't go wrong with. You can't misuse an immortal. Generally, if it's moving, if it's firing at something, it's fine.
Yeah, if it's shooting, it's doing okay.
Yeah,
That's the key. Yeah,
and it just does so much damage that even if it's just taking stray shots at things, it's doing pretty good. And yeah, exactly. Like if you just kind of, it's a one-man army, I guess, is the real thing. So even if your immortal kind of gets out of place and gets trapped by itself, it's still probably going to do some damage before you kill it. Here, Octopus poking up, and certainly no doing there. Is it going to get trapped, though? The Sentry is trying to move in to be cool.
Does he have the energy? We have seen Sentry force fields
yeah.
in a couple of rounds so far this season to great effect, which we have never really seen before.
We saw this in previous games, too. The hallucination. Freaking out the opponent, and now it looks like we're going to get the Osavi bot counter push.
Here we go. Yeah, another underutilized utility, I think, is the Protoss hallucination, which we have seen, to great effect this season. We have seen it bait a lot of enemy attacks and just absorb a lot of damage, so the rest of the army will otherwise survive. It seems to be Archons seems to be the hallucination of choice. Not really using Phoenix to scout or anything, but
it's
a good choice.
Yeah,
I like
Archon is a good choice. So the engagement here, and I knew this was going to happen.
Oh no, the ramp!
Yeah, if this army stays at the top of the ramp, this is a crushing defeat for Osavi bot. If he tries to
here
come,
we go.
This is what you want. Yeah, okay.
You willed it into existence, Ender Sword.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like he was heading for disaster, and he pulled it out. Knew to retreat back. This kiting back, big concave, can pick apart these immortals, and there wasn't enough stalker damage there to do it. And initiative is back on Octopus's side.
I gotta give a little round of applause there. We see so many times the ramp just be the absolute demise of a bot in that scenario. And it started to look that way. Octopus was taking some heavy hits with those stalkers towards the bottom of the ramp, but pulling back perfectly, expertly, and spreading apart, just made it so the immortals couldn't engage. That was awesome. That was really, really well done out of Octopus.
Yeah, basically, definitely saved himself there by.
He would have lost if he hadn't pulled back.
Yeah,
absolutely. That was game over if he hadn't pulled back. All right, well, things will
And,
continue on. So despite
neither-
that crushing loss, it's still relatively even because it is one base versus one base.
Yeah. Now
It's
helping
all about
this
positioning.
time,
Go ahead.
there's an observer that's going to be with Osavi Bot's army this time around. Because of this base, he's more likely to pull down to defend the low ground. So if this hits well, then there is still some potential to crush stalkers in a tight spot. But yeah, I don't know if Octopus is going to take a turn here or add anything else once this base is up.
I don't know if he needs to. There might just be an especially if Osavi Bot stays on one base, there might just be an overwhelming force of stalkers that can just push through and crush the army of Osavi Bot.
Yeah.
It's really going to come down to positioning, and if the Immortals can stay alive long enough to just
It's how
run
they
down
engage.
all those stalkers.
Yeah, how they engage, how the zealots come in.
Yep.
There's not going to be anything like charge. There's no twilight because this is a decent number of zealots. If there was like charge on these and they were really running down the stalkers and you can get everything in, then that's more threatening. It's still a reasonable. I mean, the army sizes are equal, and he does have a forward pylon, which is good. But yeah, like you said, it's going to depend on the engagement. My concern, it looks like he's moving down now.
Oh, there's a hallucinated phoenix. We do see them every now and then. Nice scout. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm really scared. Just again, one base versus one base. Well, now two base versus one
Good
base.
spot here.
You're just going to have an overwhelming amount of stalkers where with slow zealots and immortals, the stalkers can just kite almost indefinitely. But here's a little bit of a clumped up area. They're going to fight at the bottom of the ramp, so the immortals will get a good start to the engagement with the guardian shield helping out.
Yeah, the guardian shield definitely really
it's
important
huge.
there. And now the zealots cleared out. We're really just down to the immortal difference, but they're kind of getting pulled apart. So this main section of the army, as long as again the immortal can be taken out, it's great. There's no way to reinforce this.
He's running.
Because the pylon died.
Run, immortal, run! Oh, he's not going to run away. There were a few zealots that did survive that bought enough time. Actually, the immortal will get a few more kills before it gets killed off. It might actually not got. Oh my god,
Still,
it's gonna die.
he's got to
It's
finish.
still going.
He's got to finish it before like barrier or something comes back.
There it goes.
Does pick it off. The Archon definitely is a big help there. But yeah, immortal. Second one will go down, and I think that brunts this.
That was a little closer
Yeah.
than I actually thought it would be. I really
Yeah.
thought the stalkers would just pick that apart completely.
Yeah.
But the immortals and zealots actually got a lot of hits off that they might not have otherwise been able
I
to.
think what really helped, if you noticed on this, the fact that there's that forward pylon, zealots were coming back from the distant pylon.
Oh,
they
I
were-
didn't notice that.
They were hitting the army in the back.
So Octopus was reinforcing at the front
From
line
this,
in
yeah.
anticipation of, I'm trying to attack into a Osavi bot,
Yeah.
but got pushed back on the defense because of the
Yeah.
immortals. Interesting. I didn't notice that. Good catch.
Yeah, so that's kind of how the zealots ended up on like the other side and taking this. The stalkers of Osavi Bot also not as active in their micro, like actually standing in the zealot fire and not kind of cutting back in some cases. So yeah, it looks like he's going to be completely pushed back with the Phoenix here to provide high ground vision, which is, I love seeing this, that does appear what it's for. There comes a force field, but maybe a little too late.
So I think the stalkers pull back every second shot. Maybe I saw it wrong, but it
Yeah.
looked like every second shot, which is an interesting way to go about it because you see most units in general take a shot and then pull back. Marines, stalkers, doesn't matter what. But I kind of like that because I've had that thought for a little while that attacking and pulling back isn't always the best case scenario because sometimes it'll block other units. You need to just be attacking in. So if you give it 2 shots before you pull back, that I think gives it a little bit more of a little more leeway to keep attacking in a scenario where you should. I don't know. I think that's a good addition if that's actually what I saw. It
Yeah,
might not.
that
I might
may
be
have been
making.
it,
I might
yeah.
be making it up completely. But 1, 2 pulls back. Yeah. So 1. It looks like he does 2 shots and moves.
Yeah, that may be it.
I don't know. It's good stuff. It's good. I like it either way. But Octopus will take the game here. Game number 1. This isn't over yet. See if the Immortals in game number 2 will be able to seal the deal. Maybe Osavi Bot has a totally different build. We actually don't know.
Yeah.
Because we don't know the updates.
Yeah, it could be a different one. Again, maps can make things different.
Apps make it different.
If he's caught on the ramp in a different way, it can be worse. Things like that. So yeah, you can get a different result for sure, even with the same builds on both sides. But Osavi Bot may switch it up. Octopus may switch it up. We don't know. Usually the winning bot doesn't so much switch it up, but sometimes they scout something, do something different, whatever.
How many bots are machine learning reactive? Do you know off the top of your head? I know Eris is a lot more reactive and will change its build based on what it scouts. There's a few bots like that, but
yeah, whether it's machine learning or not, some of them have a bit of that. I think, but most of them, the machine learning tends to be more restricted to like the micro a little bit, and then the decisions for builds are like sometimes triggered by very specific things, but it's more coded in than it is vague.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and hop into game number 2 here. This could be the final game of the night between Osavi Bot and Octopus. Let's go.
Osavi's.
Osavi Bot.
Hakados.
Octopus V3. Alrighty, everybody. This could be it. This could be our final game of the night. This could decide our final participant in the round of 8. We have already got 7 bots up there waiting. And here on Golden Aura, we could decide our final one. If Octopus can pull off a win, he's got a spot in the round of 8, which is an amazing accomplishment for a new bot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially one that had to go up against Micro Machine. Micro Machine got 3 new bots in his group, so he kind of got the easy group there as far as Micro Machine is concerned. But hey, great performance out of these new bots, getting put to the test against one of the best bots in the business.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot more the new bots like being full, coherent, like fleshed out a lot more. We've seen in the past like some of our new bots come in with just kind of one gimmick or something.
Yeah,
but these are a little bit more, a little
well-rounded.
More filled out. Yeah,
they're a little more. Yeah, they're a little bit more balanced. They seem to be able to get into that kind of later game scenario. Because we also saw Octopus versus Zozo, another new bot. That was a fun match that went to an ace match. And I do believe that got into the little bit later game scenario. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But anyway, we'll see here what happens. Another PvP. Finish things off here. And Octopus is scouting around. Now, is this just a scout? This is going off to the right really far.
Yeah.
Is this a proxy?
Is this the proxy pylon location, maybe? Because he did that last game, but it wasn't quite this far away.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
That's an interesting position. I like it because it's safe, but I don't like it because it's really far away.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's farther away than the actual base.
Yeah, it might be. Might be faster just to reinforce.
It's the anti-proxy pylon. It's the
That is an interesting choice. Now, it could just be for scouting purposes, potentially.
It can also be to hide tech, if that's what he's doing. Like if you're looking to hide a Twilight, hide a Dark Shrine, something like that.
I don't think that's the case here, though.
I've been known to do such things, but yeah, it's not going to be that. It will be a gateway.
A cheeser?
It's shocking. It's shocking.
No.
But maybe he just wants to be...
Undersword. Don't tell me you cannon rush.
Oh, I don't know about that, but DT rush, yes.
DT rush, that's okay.
Yeah, but probably
cannon rush too. I don't feel that is a cheese. Everyone's like, oh, DT rush. That is such an all-in... If you mess up one little detail, you just lose. Or there's, 3 different ways that it can be blind countered. I've never felt like DT rushes were cheese. That's,
It is the way I do.
I think that's a legitimate build.
It's whatever.
I'll die on that hill. That's fine. All right, here we go. What is he attacking with army value 352? Okay, so Octopus seems like it wants to attack and start putting some pressure on. But the first Immortal is out, and Osavi Bot, as long as Osavi Bot doesn't do anything crazy, should be able to hold this just fine. There's only a few Stalkers here. This is actually really foolhardy out of Octopus if it does attack up into this ramp. I don't know about this Octopus. There's 4 Stalkers now. One's going to come in at a time. Single file. They're
this doesn't look like it's okay. He pulled away right away.
Excellent.
That's
excellent pullback.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Last time lost some doing that. This time no losses. So yeah, that's much better. Actually, I don't even know if there's almost any hull damage other than that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Slightly bruised one.
Bruised, couple damage points.
And this evens it out too. So if he gets pickups here.
Well, it traded 1 for 1 there, but now Octopus has way more than Osavi. Osavi overstayed its welcome.
Yeah, that was a good crush for early on. And especially with this coming out now, there's, you got 3 less Stalkers with this whole thing. And
you need those Stalkers.
This is a pretty big number.
You have to have those Stalkers to buffer and support for the Immortals. Osavi Bot is going to attack up this ramp, I fear. And that just might be the end of it. Octopus last time was kind of on the bottom of the ramp when the engagement started. We'll see if the same thing happens. Maybe it gets pulled down by the Stalkers here. That's going to be the best case for Osavi Bot, is if those Stalkers bunch up. But nope, that is not going to be the case.
Yeah, really dominant. And at this point, he could bunch them up all he likes because there's no Stalkers in the way. They're all going to shoot the Immortals anyway. So, yeah.
Awesome Stalker
really,
control.
Yeah, much, much cleaner. Like, no losses at the start, picking up the 3 in the middle. I guess he lost 1 there, but 3 to 1 is good. And then this time around, those Stalkers got completely separated from the Immortals that they were with and went up the ramp first. And that didn't happen in the first game. So Osavi Bot, unfortunately, is much worse off early on in this game.
I'm getting some Alpha Star vibes with this Stalker control a little bit. It's really impressive. And just not just the control of it, but the positioning. It is so important that the Stalkers don't clump up at the bottom of that ramp and just eat Immortal shots. It is so, so important. So, well done by Octopus to be able to recognize that, stay up at the top of the ramp, pull back effectively.
Yeah.
So, Osavi Bot, I think, might be a little bit outclassed here, and it might be in trouble, especially since it seems like it's not stuck on 1 base. It feels like it just does 1 base.
Yeah.
That's just
that seems to be the thing, and this is pretty much the same build as we had before. Can still come down to how this engagement looks as they come in. Never count out a bunch of Immortals, but it's not looking great, given that we're going to get a very similar situation, but with a worse setup.
Yeah, it's just a little bit worse off for Osavi here. Oh, no, I think even with the bad positioning, there's just too many Stalkers at this point. As soon as the Octopus decides to push across, I think
it's a lot. And Octopus, I don't think we got to see this last time, is adding a Robo on here as well. So,
nice. Okay.
And a Twilight Council here. So, yeah, that's going to add some capabilities. And I guess we started to see this switch into Octopus building Zealots, but we never really got to see what that was gonna be because they were only brought home defensively.
Yeah.
But Osavi Bot, because of probably heavier losses sooner, may wait longer to then push out.
Maybe. Well, and this is a great starting point for Osavi Bot. I'm really impressed with this 1 base starter here with the Immortals. It does have pretty decent control. Not the best decision making as to when to attack necessarily, but if there becomes some fallback plans for the next time we see Osavi Bot, like a second base after that first attack. Just a Twilight Council, something to keep it moving.
Momentum,
keep that momentum going. I could see Osavi Bot doing really well in future seasons because this is a solid 1 base opener here. Really defensive, can survive a lot of things. And just kind of solid. But it just needs to get a little bit better army control. You can see him attacking a little bit haphazardly, 1 at a time sometimes. The Stalkers just walking into the middle of the blue army. I don't know what the heck is going on.
Yeah, and this is one, as they were coming in, I was going to say, if Osavi Bot stays at the top of the ramp, this could still be a meat grinder situation. Didn't do that. Osavi Bot
100%.
was pulled down. And, yeah, giving them stalkers this much room is too critical.
Well, and despite giving the best engagement to Octopus possible, Osavi Bot still got a lot of damage done.
Yeah.
And again, a couple little tweaks in the army control. That's a winning fight for
You start
Osavi
to get
Bot.
multiple immortals like that, and you're just going to churn through stalkers. And if they had fought kind of like this, with all that firepower up, they would just die like crazy. I think he would have won. But that is if Octopus took the fight, which he certainly didn't have to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm curious. I wonder if Octopus would have committed up the ramp like we kind of saw Osavi do, or if it would have recognized, oh, I don't want to attack up into Immortals. Hard to say. Hard to say. Maybe we'll never know. But maybe we will. I'm sure we'll see both these bots again in future seasons. We do usually see new bots come back at least one more time to ProBots, sometimes more. So great showing out of all of our new bots this season. But unfortunately, some of the bots got to get tossed into the scrap pile. And Osavi Bot is joining those ranks. But Octopus will be moving on to face... Let's go ahead and pull up the bracket. As we have our round of 8 completed here. Eris. Oh, good luck, Octopus. Oof.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Out of the frying pan into the just something worse than fire. Just oh my gosh, that is going to be such a hard match. But it should be fun to see how Octopus chooses to deal with this. Endersword. There will be updates for this round.
There will be.
Correct?
There will be. I believe so. Yeah.
Yes.
I believe so. So yeah, you're going to have a chance here to kind of counter program or make tweaks associated with, you know, who your opponent and potentially next opponents are going to be in the bracket. So yeah, there's room to make tweaks, adjustments, whatever. I think a lot of these need to come up with a plan for each other. But yeah, Octopus is going to have a tough track. Here versus Micro Machine, that's going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, pull up the bracket again. I want to talk about this just real fast. Yeah. Pull that back up. That was too fast. It went away so fast. But yeah, so this is our round of 8, everybody. This will be next week's show, and we have eliminations every week from now on.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 more bots next week are going to be eliminated before we'll move on to the round of 4. And these are some incredible looking matchups. I am very excited for this round of 8. It's awesome to see a new bot get into the round of 8 as well. That's cool.
Yeah, that is good. It's and I don't think a new author, but it's a new bot from that.
Oh, is
author,
it a?
right?
Oh, yeah, I think
it is a known author. Yeah, so still cool though to see like the new styles. Even kind of Tier did submit a Terran before, but was kind of clearly not in this final state, and so this Terran bot, it feels a lot different than what was submitted a couple seasons ago.
It's a new author, Takado.
Takado,
been
is
around?
it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I think it is a new author.
Who is it? I'm thinking that was somebody else. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, maybe brand new then. So good. Yeah. Cool.
Maybe Zigster. Spud did Zigster. Maybe that's you.
Oh, maybe that is who I'm thinking of. Yeah. Okay. That is who I'm thinking of.
That's a new bot, but not
yeah,
a new
but not the new author. Yeah, so okay, great to have them in, and yeah, I think we're gonna get some interesting matches here. I think Eris still kind of potentially comes in as a favorite, but Sharkbot very, very strong, very high elo.
Sharkbot's been working
really well.
out, man.
Yeah.
Watch out for Sharkbot. He is buff. He is gonna come and swing. And yeah, these bots will be updated hopefully next week. Bot authors, get your updates in if you have not already. I am very excited to see these matchups. So yeah, make sure you come join us next week. We're going to be going into day 6, a round of 8. Make sure you check out the fantasy bracket. We're going to hopefully have that open within an hour. I'm going to put the pressure on Drek here. We're going to have that fantasy bracket open very soon. You can go make your predictions over the next week. We won't close it until the show starts. So make sure you go let us know who you think is going to win. Make some predictions. Have some fun with us. Check out all the links below me as well. The website if you want to support ProBots, and if you want to get access to extra ProBots content. We have Postbots happening tomorrow night. Shark Nice, author of Sharkbot, will be joining us to talk about his chatbot and his StarCraft bot and various other things. Whatever happens, should be a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll see some of you there. Endersword, how'd you like the games? Pretty fun, huh?
I thought pretty good. Yeah, definitely some good matchups here. Good back and forths between some of these bots, really showcasing them. And yeah, I thought this was a despite the fact that I don't think we had any ace matches, a lot of these games were really close. So yeah,
it was good stuff. And we're going to have great games next week. So once again, make sure you join us. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Thank you, everybody who has. Get us a little bit more visibility on YouTube. Shout out to our bot authors. We have seen some incredible stuff this season with more to come. And a big shout out to our production as well. Laddie, Drek, and oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. What's our new guy's name? We have a new production guy. What? Joe. That's right. You think that I would remember the easiest name to remember in the world, but no, I don't. I just can't. But yeah, awesome job. Things are looking really good this season. I'm very excited for what is to come for our grand finals. Again, humans versus bots will be happening in just a few weeks' time. So make sure you stay tuned for updates on that. And with that, we're going to wrap things up. Anything else you want to say before we close it out, Endersword?
No, be sure to tune in next week. Be sure to fill out those brackets. We'll shout out the people that get the best. So far, we've never had a bracket that someone's got perfect, but we usually
I thought we did have one. Didn't we have one perfect?
Maybe for the
it
round
was like
there was one that was
close.
like very close, I think.
It was like one match off or something. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll see you all next week here on ProBots for day 6, our round of 8. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you all then. Have a good night, everybody.